I'm back. Welcome to the show, the second part of our show, which we are recording. And we had a little crash prior that took us off track. Here we are again. Welcome to the Wasteful Wednesday show. I will address any questions about my history, my family. I'm an American citizen born here in the United States. And my family originally came to America in the 1600s on my mother's side, right after the Mayflower. My father's side, they arrived here right after the Civil War from Norway. Originally, my family roots on my father's side was Germany, and there's a small town in Germany called Sponheim to this day, and there's a castle there, and that's where I left you. And I can tell you that my roots are as simple as all of yours. You know, they say a lot of us have Germanic heritage. They say that many of the American people who are living here have roots in that area of the world. But that doesn't mean that I don't invite people from other countries to live here. I think that our immigration policies have been pretty successful over the years, not really under Obama. But I'd hoped that Trump would have stuck with his principles and not allowed refugees to come in the country. But I found out today that he has signed an executive order now allowing refugees to come into the country on a limited basis. Exactly what I've been saying all along. Trump is flipping on the refugee issue. Just like he flipped on the prosecution of Hillary Clinton. He didn't want to prosecute her. He wouldn't talk about the birth certificate issue with Barack Obama after he won. Trump is flipping on every single thing that you voted for him on. I wouldn't doubt he's going to promote an assault weapons ban or something. That's probably next on his liberal agenda. So you Republicans who believe that he is in some way some sort of a conservative are losing track of what's happening. I mean, Bob Corker, Jeff Flake leaving the fold, saying they're out. They don't want to be a part of this Republican Party. Tea Party people left and right going, wow, this is messed up. These people should not in any way be siding. The Republicans should not be siding with Trump because he's so out of control. He's literally going to take their party and flush it down the toilet. And conservatives are really concerned right now because he is making the Republican Party into a mockery. All right, the story about Uranium One, Hillary, I'm more than willing to talk about it. I've said from the very beginning that Hillary was corrupt too, and that's why we've been pushing for a third party. So I don't know where you people are at accusing me of siding with Hillary. I'm the guy who brought up the Hillary body count every show since like 7 years ago on Monday and Tuesday. We talk about these things. We want to get to the bottom of what's happening. The investigations have to go forward. He's not taking it to the next level. He's taking it to the Trump level, which is below par. If you're saying he's taking it to the next level, he's dropping to the Trump level. Yeah, the Trump level is not too smart. Claims he's from an Ivy League college, and he's a very intelligent person, and he sounds like an imbecile. More and more he talks, he sounds like an imbecile. Donald, you'd be better off just not talking and just having orders, you know, delivered for you. Since you don't write your tweets, I understand somebody else writes them because he can't read or spell. I am not kidding. Now, his attitude toward North Korea has pushed our country to the brink of potential problems with North Korea. And recently, North Korean official says you should take the hydrogen bomb threat literally. So they're saying they're going to drop a bomb in the middle of the Pacific Ocean and test it. And a hydrogen bomb is the most dangerous because it uses an unlimited supply of fuel to create isotopes and to create an even bigger explosion, which means that we may all get hit with massive plumes of radiation if they choose to do that. That would be a provocative move. It's highly unlikely China would back them if they were to do such a thing. But let's face it, Trump led us into this problem, this quagmire with North Korea by not talking. No, I don't wake up thinking I'm president, no. I'm prepared for the possibility that I could become president because that's why I'm running. An honest person running for president has to do that. I have a commitment to helping this nation. But the problem persists without mainstream media attention, I'm not going to do anything for you. I'll only talk online. Without mainstream media attention, I don't get any free press like Trump did for years. So we've got a real problem. This system is locked up. Money controls it. But your word of mouth telling me people about us is defying the power of this elitism and the money that they use. They can't get to what we do. There's no test or poll to find out how many people are necessarily talking about us at any given time. They don't know. They can't even gauge what I've done. Okay, American dies live streaming in Ukraine, fighting for Donbass with American fighters. Do I want to see some guy get killed right now? Not necessarily, but thank you, Bengalitis. I'll play that later tonight. The presidents before Trump have all been puppets. I've talked about this before. I mean, none of them can come up with a balanced budget, because the balanced budget means cutting the corporate crony contracts that they have, like this new one that Donald Trump is awarding some company, fledgling company connected somehow to his Secretary of Interior, Zinke. Apparently his son knew somebody and their company had 2 employees. Now they have hundreds of employees that they're going to rebuild the Puerto Rican electric grid with no experience. Isn't that nice? Cronyism in the corrupt government of Donald Trump. I'm on the news in South Korea. That's great. See, this is good. See, as long as the world is talking about me, there's a good chance that the media in America will have to bring David into the loop. I haven't been able to talk in any official capacity with anyone. They wouldn't take my press releases. They wouldn't give me any eartime. They wouldn't give me any airtime. They wouldn't give me the ability to even talk on any issue. And they're going to deal with the aftermath of ignoring me all these years, and I'll selectively choose which media outlet I talk to, because I certainly won't talk to Alex Jones. I don't want to be denigrated and acted like some weird fringe candidate. I don't want to be relegated to that category. Welcome. Well, I know there's a lot of people in North Korea watching us too, and they don't know what to do because they're fearful that their leader is going to lead them into a North Korean attack on the U.S. and vice versa. And I don't want that at all. I want our nations to at least talk. And I certainly don't think economic sanctions against North Korea are going to help. Okay, an argument over a shopping cart leads to a fight at a Memphis Walmart. Let's look at this. One woman was sent to the hospital. Wow. Okay. They say that fluorescent lights can trigger violent thoughts. They may want to convert those Walmarts to the natural lighting scenario. It might help. Do I support the rights of gay people to be gay? Yes, I do. This is not Russia yet. Trump hasn't completely converted our country to Russia. Do we want to cater to transgender bathrooms? No. No. We'll make unisexual bathrooms for anybody, single units that no one can go into. It'll be a lot easier when we produce new bathrooms in the future. It's not about liking transgenders or disliking them. It's about the liberal agenda that's being forced upon us. Transgenderism and homosexuality is a abnormal behavior. It is not normative behavior. Heterosexuality is. At most, 10% of our population are either transgender or gay, lesbian, or bi. Not 90%. 90% are heterosexual. So I have to appease the 90% of the general population under the general welfare clause, I have to think about those people, but I don't want anyone to be discriminated against because you chose to be gay, because you felt that you're gay from the beginning of your life. I don't want you to be singled out and discriminated against. So no government jobs will be held back from transgenders or homosexuals, even in the military. Now, when Donald Trump went out and attacked the transgenders in the military, by the way, they're still in the military. General Mattis has given them an approval to stay in the military while they sort this out. So the trannies haven't left our military. Donald Trump just wanted us to, take our mind off of what was happening at the time, and I believe that was the Russian investigation, James Comey, that he came up with this amazing distraction, which he put over our heads. We talked about that earlier, Operation Distraction. You want more fighting videos? We got a guy who's fighting in Afghanistan, or excuse me, Ukraine. He live streaming in Ukraine, fighting, and then dies with the American foreign fighters. This is a battle going on with Russia as well. It's not something that we talk about, but Russia has got all kinds of involvement in Ukraine. And Donald Trump, by the way, has supported Russia's position on Ukraine, not the U.S. position. It's important to note that Donald Trump has been pushing Russia's position. Mike Flynn was pushing an attempt to take down Poroshenko and replace him with Artemenko. And Michael Cohen, Donald Trump's lawyer, picked up when Michael Flynn left off. So Trump is basically working for Russia. But our country is supporting the opposite.
We live, boy.
I feel sorry for these people. I can't play this. I'm not going to watch somebody get killed on my screen. Sorry. I'll play it later. Uranium One is irrelevant. Hillary is just as guilty as Donald taking Russian money. What can I say? Mitch McConnell takes money from Russia. I'm telling you, our country has a two-party corruption problem. You keep acting like talking about Hillary and Uranium One or maybe the dossier and all that. She had every right to pull up dirt on Donald. He was pulling up dirt on her. It's a two-way street. The dossier is real. Hillary did get her hands dirty with Russian money. Absolutely. Podestas might be involved. Absolutely. It still doesn't dissuade us from the simple fact that we need a third party, okay? Both parties are corrupt. Get that through your thick head. I've been talking to the Republicans all night long because they're the ones that continue to cling to this idea that, oh, no, it's Hillary's fault. It's always naming and blaming the opposite side, whether you're on Democrat or Republican side. No, not going to happen. Latvia was involved, really? I voted for Bill Clinton in the earliest days, yes, I did. It's true. Back when he was lying through his teeth and we were having Mena, Arkansas gate, and we didn't even know it. Nobody knew how corrupt these people were back then. Hello, Sarah.
Hello.
The Saudi prince bold plan for a $640 billion futuristic mega city. Wow. That sounds exciting. It's said to be unlike anything the world has seen before. That may well be right. This visionary prince, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, 32, has offered a glimpse.
Ambition. It starts with over 26,000 square kilometers of land, set in an ideal location where 3 continents meet, right at the heart of the world's transport, trade and telecoms routes. A place rich in natural resources with a generous climate. Here we see the birth of NEOM, the world's most ambitious project, a destination of the future, a vision that is becoming reality. We see a chance to design a better way of life, with a blueprint for sustainable living. We see a place that will inspire new learning, create new industries, and encourage enterprise, invention, and ingenuity.
You know, I thought they had a place like that. It's called Las Vegas. Okay, Sarah's here. We're both dressed appropriately for the time. You know, it's not 100 degrees here like it was in California a couple days ago. All right, I'm glad to know everybody's so complimentary of Sarah. I never had sexual relations with anyone, not even myself. Technically.
It's not freezing, no.
No, these are the new line of bulletproof jackets Sarah and I have decided to wear in our show. Just kidding. Anyway.
That would be pretty good, though.
I'm going to go take a little break. We got Carolyn over there. Hello, Carolyn. I'm glad you're hanging out with us.
Oh, I'm sorry your health has worsened, not improved.
She's struggling.
Thanks for updating the date on that, David.
Yeah. We got a card from Ace Fan, a Halloween card. We're going to be opening for Halloween. You still have to get some sort of an outfit. You don't even think about it right now, but something for Halloween other than the jacket. What are you going to go as? You haven't figured it out yet. She'll decide then.
No,
other
than a wig.
I'm going as a cyborg. I'm already developed my hair to look like cybernetic.
Well, was it last year I went as Melania?
Yes, you did.
That was pretty good, huh?
Yeah, that was good. That was incredible. Your makeup was beyond belief. If you ever check our Halloween show from last year, it was phenomenal. I did a very bad impersonation of Donald Trump. Yes, I'm doing a little dress up. Yeah, I've got a mask I ordered in the mail. It's called a box, and I ordered it. It comes, and I have to cut the eyes out and put it on my head. So
oh, I'm sorry, Nita. You have Anita has knee issues now.
Oh no, the knee is. Uh-oh. You know, that could be gout. Yeah, they say that knees can, you know, high protein diets can trigger gout. Something to think about. Isn't kale supposed to be bad for people with gout? Kale?
I'm not sure, but I know cherries are good for people with gout.
Cherries are good for people with gout, yes. There's also the glucosamine, you know, option. I got you a high protein diet. Okay. Black cherries are very good for that, yeah. Well,
boil kale and it takes away the bad part, 708 says.
Really? Well, you know, I've heard that kale can be baked and, you know, sprinkled with seasoning and make crackers. Kale crackers are really good. But I'm not urging people to have kale because they've got a listeria warning at Safeway. Across the board, all kinds of frozen vegetables are being pulled. That's why I'm concerned about those frozen broccoli that I picked up. Mm-hmm. We got to wash all of our vegetables, and that's an alert to everybody. Wash your vegetables really well because there's a listeria outbreak in the frozen section. Yeah. We bought some broccoli recently. I think they're okay. They weren't on the recall list, but I like to buy broccoli in the winter because I pull it out of the bag whenever I need it, as opposed to getting fresh broccoli, you know. All right, I'm going to check out. I'll be back. Sarah's going to do a little trivia. Thank you.
I don't let David try to cook a Thanksgiving meal for under $5. He's tried it. All right. Ready for some trivia? Dragon audiences, there's big revelations about robotic engineering in the American military. They're jumping $100 billion into it because Trump says robotics are needed. We gotta go all out for Thanksgiving. That would be fantastic. Static Mike? Oh, David. Well, was it not really when David electricity still? Hey, David? Yeah, well, I didn't buy it. I purposely don't, you know longer move by the my cable. David, your mic is not working. The mic is not working well. They're saying that there's static on the mic, but I don't know. No, you said, I don't know. You're saying it's okay. They're saying it's static. Okay, let's try this. Can you hear me now? Yes, I think you can hear me.
Okay, we're up and running. We've got good mic. Yeah, this is better. All right, this is a backup mic.
Well, it's like that, whatever, the XLR cable David got.
I think I need a new XLR cable. It's pretty much the worst thing. I bought a cheap one, and I think I should have gone with a premium one.
Yep, I think you're right. Don't try to resell it, David.
No, I won't.
Just toss it. It's not the mic, I think it's the cable that David bought, because he always wants to save money. But that's probably true. I include David would never throw something away, but probably Dr. Neil. Mad Dog did not send us a cable. Saving money can end up costing you more. David is very frugal. Maybe I can... Oh, God. I caught my book on the cord of the keyboard. Trivia. Trivia. Alright, here we go. Not literature. I'm going to do literature. Sorry. We're almost through the literature section because it's just... We're on W, so we only have 2 pages to do, and then that's it for that. And then it's conventions in written English. Yay! Oh God, no! God help us. Who wrote The House of Mirth and the Age of Innocence? An American author of the late 19th and early 20th centuries. She's best known for her subtle satires of New York City society. Hello, B Pink. It is Edith Wharton. Edith Wharton. What were some lines in Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare? Juliet was prevented from marrying Romeo by the feud between their families, and she complains that Romeo's name is all that keeps him from her. And so she's talking about Romeo's name. I guess it's a, we'll tell that to David, Dr. Meow. Yeah, and pretty much if you were to rewrite it in today's language, that's what it would be, 708. He did creep up to her window. She starts out with, "What's in the name? That which we call a blank by any other name would smell as sweet." Fill in the blank. That which we call a, good job, 327. That which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. Good job, a rose. Who wrote Leaves of Grass, a collection of poems that celebrates nature, democracy, and individualism? He was a 19th century American poet. Correct, monkey times. It was Walt Whitman. The earthiness of Whitman's poetry shocked many readers of his time. Who wrote The Picture of Dorian Gray and the play The Importance of Being Earnest? He urged art for art's sake. None of these are Mark Twain. They all just have W in them. It is Oscar, but it's not Oscar Williams. He's an Irish-born author of the late 19th century who spent most of his career in England. Oscar Wilde is correct. Wilde was famous for his flamboyant wit and style of dress. Wilde was convicted of homosexual activity and spent about 2 years in prison. The poem The Ballad of Reading Gaol Jail is based on his experiences in jail. Gaol, jail. Jail. All right. Who wrote Our Town? He was a 20th century American author. It was Thornton Wilder. Who wrote A Streetcar Named Desire, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, and The Glass Menagerie? Famous for his plays which portray violent passions in ordinary people. Tennessee Williams is correct. Sure, I can upgrade the background picture. Let's see. Is that better? Or, it's just a light. I don't know what this is. Okay. I'm just trying to find different things. That's that one. Here, I'll put this one behind me. I don't know what all these things are that David has, so I'd have to pull up something else. David just has so many things. All right, just one moment. That's good. Why don't I just add a new scene? There we go. I'm going to add the web camera. Fantastic. Chroma key. Ooh, let's go here. I know, I gotta take that down a little bit. And then I'll add, let's see, streams, web page media file. Trying to find a decent background. Let's see.
What's happening?
Oh, I'm just trying to get a different background going.
Okay.
So I don't know what.
I'll show you where they are.
Where are they? Just tell me the drive they're on.
L.
Okay. Where?
I can get to it
L?
real fast.
No, just tell me.
User. L. User. Owner. Pictures. ATP. Yeah, that'll work. And then OTP overlay text. And then backgrounds. There you go. Thank you.
Thanks. All right. Good. All right, and I'll put this there. The back is, the black is too somber. There we go. There. Is that too somber? And then I'll bring it to David's scene when he comes back, because I don't want to mess with his scene. All right. What was a classic children's fantasy written by the British writer Kenneth Grahame? Originally intended only as bedtime stories for his son, this idyllic tale of the English countryside and riverbanks chronicles the adventures of Mr. Toad, Mole, Rat, and their friend Badger. Correct, Monkey Times in 708. It is Wind in the Willows. Correct. What was a stuffed toy bear who appears in several books for children by A.A. Milne? The characters in the books are mainly stuffed animals who come to life. Correct, Bengalitis. And Meta-Nemesis, and 708. Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh has many adventures with the little boy Christopher Robin, his owner. What is a phrase from the historical play King Richard III by William Shakespeare? It describes a civil war in England. It has come to suggest disaffection in general. The phrase served as a title for a book by John Steinbeck. And it's kind of like the background behind me. It is Winter of Our Discontent. What was a book by American author Frank L. Baum with Dorothy, a little girl who's carried away by a tornado from Kansas to an enchanted lands? Correct. The Wizard of Oz. Dorothy has 3 companions. Who can name her 3 companions? Lion, Tin Man, and Scarecrow. Correct, monkey times. The Scarecrow wants brains, a woodman made of tin wants a heart, and the cowardly lion wants courage. The wizard pretends to give these things to them, although they have had them all along without knowing it. Dorothy eventually returns to Kansas by using magic shoes. Although The Wizard of Oz continues to attract readers, it is better known through its 1939 film adaptation with Judy Garland as Dorothy. And a little history of The Wizard of Oz. It was actually written kind of to Grover Cleveland, or a little bit past that, but it was written trying to prevent us from going off the gold standard. And it was about the trips to DC to try to prevent them from going off the gold standard. Grover Cleveland. Who is a 20th century English author who experimented with stream of consciousness narrative technique? Her works include the novel To the Lighthouse and the essay A Room of One's Own. It is Virginia Woolf. Who wrote the poems Daffodils, which begins with the words, I wandered lonely as a cloud. He also wrote The World is Too Much with Us, Ode, Imitations of Immortality from Recollections of Early Childhood, and The Prelude. He was a 19th century English poet, one of the leading figures of Romanticism. Wordsworth, correct. William Wordsworth. What was a sonnet by William Wordsworth in which the poet complains that people are too attached to the trivial things of the world and not sufficiently aware of nature as a whole? That was one of his, but 708, it's not this one. It was The World is Too Much with Us. Who wrote Black Boy and Native Son? He was a 20th century American author known for his novels dealing with a black experience in the United States. Cute 302. Correct. Good job. 328. Richard Wright. What was a novel by Emily Bronte about the thwarted love of 2 young people, Catherine and Heathcliff, and the cruel suffering Heathcliff inflicts on all involved in their separation? I need to read that again. Wuthering Heights, correct. Correct, Wuthering Heights. What are the crude, dirty brutes of the land of Huygens in Gulliver's Travels by Jonathan Swift? They are irrational people and represent the worst side of humanity. By contrast, the wise and gentle ones, their masters, are rational horses and represent humanity at its best. It wasn't Lilliput, it was when he went to a different place. The Houyhnms. And they were the Yahoos, and a Yahoo is an uncouth and uncivilized person. I think I just should. Yeah, it's time. Who was an Irish poet of the late 19th and early 20th centuries, regarded by many as the greatest modern poet in English? Some of his best-known poems are Selling to Byzantium, The Second Coming, and Among School Children. It was William Butler Yeats. Welcome back, Rule 34U. Are you indeed salty? Do I remember the answers? Not all of them. Probably not most of them. Oh. All right. What is the shortened form of an expression usually followed by a period? Correct, pigs. It is an abbreviation when it's shortened, like capital D, lowercase r, period is an abbreviation for doctor. What is a word formed by combining the beginning letters of a name or a phrase? Yep, I am trying to educate everyone, Rule 34U. Or it can be combined the initial syllables of a series of words. Acronym is correct. WASP is an acronym for White Anglo-Saxon Protestant. RADAR stands for Radio Detecting and Ranging. Acronyms are often less clumsy than the complete expression they represent and are easier to write and sometimes remember and sometimes not remember. But anyway, you're getting schooled hard and learning how clueless we really are.
I did not know. Radar meant radar.
Meant radio detecting and ranging.
Yeah.
Oh, I am so glad. Well, you know, I'm so glad some of you are bored and some of you are far too intelligent for this. No, I cannot think of anything different for break time with Sarah segment. ATP, a good acronym. You love acronyms. BTW, FYI. ATM usually stands for Automated Teller Machine. Really, iGlue? I will tell you the first two letters mean down to. All right, what is one of the two voices of verbs? When the verb of a sentence is in this voice, the subject is doing the thing in the sentence. You'll just have to look that up, 328. Correct. It is active voice. Good job, 266. In the sentence, Kevin hit the ball, Kevin is the subject of the sentence, acts in relation to the ball. Hello, Candy Rain. You're at the ATM at the moment. Yes. Is it okay to eat bologna that's 3 months old? I don't know. I don't like bologna at all, so kind of weird. What is an abbreviation used with a date indicating how many years have passed since the birth of Jesus? The abbreviation may appear before the date, or it may appear after the date. AD, correct. Monkey Times has that one. AD. It stands for Anno Domini, a Latin phrase meaning in the year of our Lord, compared with BC, before Christ. What is a part of speech that describes a noun or a pronoun? They are usually placed just before the words they qualify. They're actually my favorite part of speech. Yes, Monkey Times, adjectives. The great thing about adjectives and why I like them so much is you could have like a huge long sentence with like tons of adjectives. You could put like 25 adjectives in one sentence. The cold, dark, mysterious, pink, gray, cute, loud, monster. Anyway. You can put as many adjectives as you want in just one sentence. Yeah, well, I'm glad I taught you something, Candy Rain. Anno Domini is what AD is short for. What is a part of speech that modifies a verb? Or it can modify an adjective or another part of the same speech. Adverb is correct. They usually answer questions such as how, where, when, to what degree. Like, he ran well. She ran very well. The mayor is highly capable. Adverbs are often formed by adding ly to an adjective, such as in truly, deeply. Deep is an adjective, truly is an adverb, deep is an adjective, deeply is an adverb. Wow. No, 189, sorry. Is it legal to put more than 5 adjectives in a row in a sentence? It's completely, in my opinion, is completely acceptable. Of course, you do have to separate them with commas. The dark, cold, damp, gray, urgent, message. Yeah, why not? Just separate them all with commas. It's not that great, but... Ooh, dark, cold, damp, slippery, gooey, puddle, sat there. Anyway. There you go, 465, you did that. You hate when the people can't use the commas right.
Use it as its own word in between words. The 5 adjectives contradict each other is probably not accurate. You don't want to do that. You don't want to use opposites. The hot, cold mess. I'm like, no, that doesn't make sense. Good evening, Andrew. They need to have this. What is a requirement for parts of a speech, parts of a sentence in standard written English? They must do this in number and person. Before, after, and in a lineup. Commas. That is, sentences must have agreements. The parts must agree in number and in person. The subject and verb of a clause or simple sentence must agree in person, as in he is a boy. You wouldn't want to put he are a boy. The subject, he, and the verb is are both in the third person. The subject and verb must agree in number, as in we are girls. You wouldn't say we are girl. The subject, we, and the verb are both plural. Nouns and pronouns must also agree in number, person, and gender, as in every boy must mind his manners. The noun boy and the pronoun his are both singular, both in the third person and both masculine. You wouldn't say every boy must mind him manners. Okay, thank you, Whirlwind. You're here to tell everyone why guests are blue. The color is Dodger blue for the Dodgers. Okay, fantastic. Oh, I love that. Glue, I love that. I think I might actually remember that one. What does a thesaurus eat for breakfast? A synonym roll. Oh, I love that. That's so cool. Oh, I know all the different genders in English is kind of crazy. Oh, wait, are you talking about in the English language, or are you talking about in like real life? Exaggerated numbers. All right. I love that. Okay, what is an abbreviation, meaning also known as? Is primarily used by law enforcement officials to specify an alias. It can also be used correct, AKA. Yeah, him, her, they, them, non-binary. Yeah. It. Yeah. You could use AKA like this. My cousin, AKA the worst gossip in the neighborhood, was talking about me. No. You're gender fluid. That's funny. Dodgers used to be named the Brooklyn Trolley Dodgers. They shortened it to Dodgers. Nice. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. I think it's good for all of us to review the conventions in written English. No, thank you, Lot Lizard. Thank you, Teeth. What is a story that has a deeper or more general meaning in addition to its surface meaning? They're composed of several symbols or metaphors. Like, for instance, in The Pilgrim's Progress by John Bunyan, the character named Christian struggles to escape from a bog or a swamp. The story of his difficulty is a symbol for the difficulty of leading a good life in the bog of this world. What are those types of stories called? The bog is a metaphor or symbol of life's hardships and distractions. So when Christian loses a heavy pack that he's been carrying on his back, this symbolizes his freedom from the weight of sin that he has been carrying. Monkey Times, you are correct. It is an allegory. An allegory. So another great allegory is Animal Farm by George Orwell. Glad to hear it, Teeth. Whatever makes you happy. Go Dodgers. I don't know. I'm not even a fan of football. Well, you actually know it was a satire. That's true. Animal Farm was more of a satire than an allegory. No, I think it could be both. It could be an allegory and a satire. Because an allegory has a deeper, more general meaning in addition to its surface meaning. So I would definitely say Animal Farm qualifies as an allegory. So it could be both. A satire is like a joke, yeah. It could be both. What is the repetition of the beginning sounds of words? As in, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Or long-lived, or short shrift. Correct, Monkey Times. Alliteration. Or the fickle finger of fate. Alliteration. What is an indirect reference to some piece of knowledge not actually mentioned? They usually come up from a body of information that the author presumes the reader will know. For example, an author who writes, "She was another Helen," is alluding to the proverbial beauty of Helen of Troy. And so if people don't understand that, they wouldn't, you know, or like, he ate an apple like Adam did and was forever changed the world. It is called, not an innuendo, it's called an allusion. Allusions are often written in reference to the Bible or to mythology or folklore. So if you're like, she always wore, you know, her hair was as gold, it was like Goldilocks, that would be an allusion. My, what big eyes you have. That in a way is an allusion also to the big bad wolf. I'll huff and I'll blow your house in. If it was written in another book, that would be an allusion as well. Anyway,
Right.
all those are allusions. Not illusions, allusions.
Hi,
Starting
Candy
with the
Ray.
letter A.
Hello. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the show. Yeah.
We do have two more on this page. But
I didn't have a garden this summer.
what is a symbol that stands for and?
An ampersand.
Correct.
Ampersand.
Ampersand. What is a comparison of two different things that are alike in some way?
Did you
Some
skip?
include
Yeah.
metaphors. Metaphor is a subcategory of this. It includes similes are another subcategory. They're both, yeah, they're both these. The similes and metaphors, yes, but they are analogies. An analogy attributed to Samuel Johnson is, dictionaries are like watches. The worst is better than none, and the best cannot be expected to go quite true.
Really good stuff. This is a great literature and learning about the English language. Wow. And you covered allegory too already. That's
yes,
great.
I talked about allegory.
Great. Wow. That's a tough one. A string of metaphors.
And
This is
okay.
terrible. The Iceman cometh. I'm here.
Well,
I will
David will no here. You go.
I'm okay with the Iceman
No.
cometh. I like the background.
Here you go. I don't know what all this is, but
This
you
is
can-
perfect. Operation Distraction. Thank you.
All right.
All right, Sarah.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for the trivia.
You're welcome for my Operation Distraction. I was trying to distract people from Operation Distraction.
People are always interested in knowing. Let's see if my voice is any different. How's the mic now? Are we up and running? Thank you.
Yep.
We are up and running. You can hear me. All right, great. Analogy, right? It's terrible. Good. Sounds good. Candy Rain says it sounds good. Okay, great. So Flake left. We heard Jeff Flake's outgoing speech, a long, very eloquently written speech that characterized his frustration with dealing with Donald Trump and all of his behavior. And thank you, Candy. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, we didn't have a real garden, didn't grow much because the chemtrails were flying over our head here where we live all summer long. And now we're getting the rain chemtrails. They come in. We're not allowed to stream on Twitch. They IP banned me over there. Somebody said, "Hey, are you gay?" And I said, "No." But I dislike the fact that you're even asking me that. I consider it sexual harassment. And they called me a homophobe. And then according to their TOS rules, which you read the TOS rules over there, homophobia is a bannable offense over there. And I'm not a homophobe. I just simply said I wasn't gay and that I was tired of people asking me that question. I know. We got in the first days of the IRL section, and they IP banned me. Yeah, IP banned for not being gay. So, a lot of people are concerned that this stuff is going on in our air, and we're breathing it, and we're all getting polluted. And we don't know what's going on in our bodies. We don't know what's happening to our skin, our internal organs when we take in all this crap. So, we're here to talk about chemtrails 24/7, really, I mean. But I'm not going to belabor the point and talk about them all night long, so... obviously, if you have any questions about it, we're more than willing to talk about it, but... I'd rather talk about other things right now. Chemtrails on my mind. So it does seem like the nuclear potential is very real right now with North Korea. I'd like to think it wasn't, but it is. Yeah, it's all snowflake stuff. We don't broadcast on YouNow, even though YouNow purchased the Blog TV network and ruined it. Somebody gave the guy at YouNow $5 million to buy Blog TV out from under us. And consequently, we lost a lot of viewers over there, but a lot of people came over here. And we've been censored for the past couple years now at Vaughn, which is weird. Chemtrails would have to have thousands of people in on it at every airport. Total bull. I totally disagree. They have automatic planes that fly out with auto navigation systems that drop chemicals and fill up chemicals in depots. Evergreen Air has an actual landing pad where they fill up chemicals and put them in the air and drop them on us. And they don't even have pilots. A lot of these planes are being flown without pilots. Yes, I heard that Corey Feldman claimed he'd been targeted for death. They're going to try to kill him in jail for trying to expose the pedo network. They've arrested him. He's on thin ice, basically. I'm really worried about him. And all the people who've been arrested for no reason, simply to get rid of him. Yeah, they tried to swat me. I was attacked over 2 years ago now. The local sheriff just decided to pull us out of our house for no reason. And they had no precedent and no reason to do it. So we're still looking at legal action. I am, at least. And the possibility does remain that we could stir that hornet's nest up again. Well, we're being censored to the mainstream media. And here at this network at Vaughn, where you're at, a lot of people get capacity server screens every time they try to get in here. So they have to refresh hundreds of times. Some people refresh for 2 hours just to get in here. And that's just the many layers and filters that Mark has created as a gatekeeper to this show. I can't control it. We're just using a free server because that's the way we maintain the strength of our party, by not spending money. When you spend money, you lose. But in a big way, he's winning because he's making millions of dollars, allegedly, doing this censorship. Or at least banning IPs. All kinds of VPNs have been banned. He said he banned 300 million VPNs. I mean, that's just a staggering number of VPNs. It would include about 1 billion people from getting the show. Yeah, well, you're coming out of a server that's a clear channel. They've allowed certain channels in the U.S. that have been propagated by the people that have been regular viewers, and they close down all their access points. You just happen to be on a good place. Yeah, we heard from Corey Feldman earlier in the pre-show. Thanks, Happy Hour. This sounds like he scripted this, but it does.
Talking about what's on everybody's mind. I told everybody a few days ago that I had a plan to try and hopefully bring to light what is happening in the world of entertainment, as far as perverts and pedophiles and all of the topics of what we've been discussing. Ever since I even discussed the fact that I have this plan, my life has turned into utter chaos. You can probably tell by the sound of my voice. It's pretty ripped up because of the devastation of what I've been through the past few days. I've experienced things like never before. I mean, I've been silenced my whole life, but just over the past few days since I made that announcement, I've been arrested. I had a near-death experience last night where I felt like I was almost going to be killed.
Wow.
2 trucks came speeding at me at the same time on a crosswalk.
Wow.
And then several of my band members decided to quit because they're afraid for their lives.
Right.
I don't know what got into their heads. I don't know what they're afraid of all of a sudden, but they just left. And I'm very alone, but I need to protect myself, and I need to protect my family. I need additional security, and I need a legal team to help represent me so that I can fulfill this mission. What I'm proposing is a plan that I believe can literally change the entertainment system as we know it. And I believe that I can also bring down, potentially, a pedophile ring that I've been aware of since I was a child.
Wow.
Right off the bat, I can name 6 names. One of them who is still very powerful today. And a story that links all the way up to a studio. It connects pedophilia to one of the major studios.
Wow. Major studios. This is a kind of a huge reveal. He looks terrible, yeah. He looks like he's in fear for his life. He's talking about the most difficult subject broached in the media today, which is the pedophile network that lingers in Hollywood and in DC. Yeah, I think we're all taking it to heart. We're worried about the guy. We don't want him to, be killed off and snuffed out like all the other people that have had, contact with certain people that end up dying. There have been Nancy Schaefer and her husband, the state senator from Georgia, who was found by the police, and they immediately called it a murder-suicide, and they were Christians, and they would never do that. Their families convinced they were murdered. They were right on the verge of delivering a documentary on pedophilia at the CPS network, Child Protective Services, and they were snuffed out, and the documentary footage was taken by William Fain of the William Fain Agency, claiming that they were going to make a movie out of this. They never did, and he closed up his shop and can no longer be found. He's not on the radar. William Fain Agency is evaporated. So all the evidence that Nancy Schaefer and her husband had acquired is gone. 2.5 hours of interviews and reveals of secret activities being Our government has been complicit in taking kids from homes that are perfectly normal, extracting children, and they prey on poor families that can't fight legally. And these kids are put into a human trafficking ring, and CPS may very well be involved. So these are all big questions that are now becoming bigger and bigger because of Harvey Weinstein's arrest. I don't think he's been arrested. No, he's actually just he hasn't even been indicted on any charges yet. But one woman has gone forward and talked about being raped by him. And yeah, it's Gloria Allred's handling the case. Okay. Another actress, oh, here she is. Yeah, this is from Breitbart. The actress Natasha Malth accuses Harvey Weinstein of rape, and Gloria Allred is sitting next to her in this interview. But yeah, at a press conference Wednesday in New York City, alongside her attorney, the actress recounted an alleged incident shortly after the BAFTA Awards in 2008, which Malta and said Weinstein burst into her London hotel room and proceeded to masturbate in front of her, before eventually allegedly raping her. I was startled and awakened by repeated pounding on my door in the middle of the night, accompanied with Harvey Weinstein yelling, "Open the door, Natasha Malty, it's Harvey Weinstein," the actress said during the press conference. I was mortified and humiliated. There were many industry people staying at the hotel. I was worried that everyone would wake up and think that I was sleeping with him. Well, she was raped. This is a serious accusation, and one of the many that will probably be coming forward, dogging him the rest of his life. Yeah, so you don't get away with this and walk unless, of course, you're Donald Trump. Then you get protected. So you think that Corey was doing well with his music career? Cool. So his band is broken up. We'll play some of his music tonight. So Corey Feldman had a revival of music and was kind of growing in popularity. And now he is, I guess, out on bail for a drug arrest in which he nearly died when walking across the crosswalk, hit by 2 trucks that were out to kill him. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that. Kellogg's to replace racially insensitive Corn Pops boxes following a Twitter call out.
Okay, they quickly answered a question about a Corn Pops box. Saladin Ahmed, a Marvel author, tweeted that the drawing, he asked why the janitor was a man of color. I can't even read it. I don't think that's important. Kellogg can sort that out. Yeah. Called out by a Muslim, yeah. More race crap again, yeah. More snowflake BS. Who cares? I'm just reading out of the chat. Was it a weed charge? I don't know. A weed charge in California doesn't make sense. It's legal in California. Okay, thanks, Scissor Fight, for giving me that heads up. You know, there's so much political correctness going on in the world that I purposely did the blackface video in 2008 just to mess with their heads. And man, the Democrats are so screwed up about freedom of speech. They don't even know what freedom of speech is. Yeah, no, I don't regret it. I'm glad I did it because so many people around the world enjoy it and know that I was just impersonating Obama. And I have every right to impersonate him. I had to wear a blackface. There's no other way I could do it. So then I did blackface 2 in 2014, which is out on my website right now. And I had to do it because I didn't have any media attention at all in America. And I still don't have any media attention, really, in America. So the worldwide audience picked up, and now it's becoming a bigger thing. And I'm glad it's finally kicking into gear. But I don't even play blackface here because of the threat. The threat Mark Vaughn said that he would ban me from the network on those grounds, and I don't want to give him any chance to legally take me off this network. I'm playing a very careful game of chess here, and it says I have 109 viewers here. It can't be right. No, never is.
We have millions of people that want to get in this chat room, and only a few get in. People from China and other countries and India have problems getting their VPNs to work. No, it's not the case, sorry. And you're not allowed to come in here under those terms. So you want to talk the issues, talk the issues. Appreciate it. So you can check out all my cooking videos at my YouTube site, which also seems to have a hit counter lock on it too. Your counter has 163,000 views. I believe it. Yeah, some people have different counters. Really, 2 million viewers in New Zealand. You know, I met a wonderful couple many years ago in the 80s, late 80s, from New Zealand. And they had a farm out there that they converted into a place to deal with children who are recovering from sexual abuse. And they said they had about 100 kids at the camp in New Zealand. And I wouldn't doubt they're still in operation somewhere. But really wonderful couple that decided to dedicate their life to helping children of sexual abuse crimes recover. Okay, we got a national security issue, really. This is why the U.S. wants to invade North Korea. Let's take a look.
To create our own.
A mining industry expert, concerns about U.S. dependence on foreign suppliers of our military needs. A recent report shows that we are relying on countries like China for rare earth minerals, which are essentially components for guided missiles, other artillery as well. A new Fox News editorial calling attention to the lack of dialogue on the issue with this headline: "We have a national security crisis. Let's do nothing." John Moody wrote that piece. He's Executive Vice President and Executive Editor of Fox News. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So do nothing is not an option because these are important minerals. And tell us why.
Right, we've done nothing for too long now. That's the bottom line. Rare earths are 17 metals that are produced 95% by China right now, and we are completely reliant on China for our supply of rare earth materials. These are the components that make magnets that are now the key element of our jet fighters, of our satellite guided missiles.
And to sum things up, North Korea has lots of these rare earth metals. And I've been talking about the fact that China is in charge of virtually 97% of the rare earth metals. He said 95%, but my number is 97%. Either they produce it in China or they control the access to the supply route of China. And that's 97% of the rare earth metals that we need for our own defenses. So that could be the reason why Donald Trump is pushing for a ground invasion, which is absurd. It'd be so much better just to open trade and consider options for all the countries involved. You know, I really think that we could work toward that goal. And if we really wanted rare earth metals, we would go to the moon. There's tons of rare earth metals on the moon. So let's be real here. Okay, a second woman has come forth claiming that George H.W. Bush groped her. All right. Here's the hand of the woman. Earlier this week, actress Heather Lynn said in a now deleted Instagram post that former George H.W. Bush sexually assaulted her. He touched me from behind with his wheelchair with his wife Barbara by his side. And then he told me a dirty joke, and then all the while being photographed, touched me again. This is not the end of things. Jordana Grolnick, of New York actress, has a story to tell that doesn't sound very different at all. I got sent the Heather Lynn story by many people this morning, Grolnick says, and I'm afraid that mine is entirely similar. Rumors about Bush groping actresses in this manner have been circulating for a while. More than a year ago, a tipster passed word about Heather Lynn's incident to Deadspin. We were told that Bush had, during a photo op, groped her and told her that his favorite magician was David Copperfield while fondling her. David Copperfield. He's a man of humor. Poor Barbara, the granddaughter of Aleister Crowley the Beast. Such a tortured family. And did you know that Laura Bush, she suffers from the guilt of having killed a man in a car accident in the early 60s? I don't know. I just don't think the man really is... he's not going to serve any time for a butt grabbing, but yeah, you got to admit he has a sense of humor at that age. That's kind of nice, but it's wrong what he did. he's too old to care. I've never grabbed a woman by her body part. No. Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't promoting Operation Distraction. We try to do that to help people realize, you know, the government's trying to distract us incessantly. We're finally waking up to what's happening. Okay. You know, I give back rubs to Sarah. Yeah, and I could even give a lower back rub, which is kind of nice, which is great. But I can't always, migrate my hands otherwhere, unless, of course, I want to go to, first base, which I don't think is appropriate after 19 years. Do you? But no, seriously. Nothing sexual. David Sponheim, you have a large ball sack covering you on the UHF feed. That's a sign of the times. I'll go over here and try to avoid it. Is that better? I've got my Dutch boy hairdo. I'm set for the Cyber Night. I'm trying to make it look plastic. Well, look, I'm not going to get into the specifics of my personal life, but I will tell you that it's wrong to grab women wherever you go. It's not going to get you anywhere. If you want to have a relationship with a beautiful woman, you have to finesse it. You can't be outright gross. Women don't react to that. I'm eating the left side. Let me go to the right side. Why Joe Biden didn't run and why he's not ruling out 2020. Apparently, mental retardation isn't his problem. Trump has that problem, unfortunately. In a cruel twist, Joe Biden's planned 2016 presidential campaign was upended by the death of its foremost booster, his 46-year-old son, Beau, from brain cancer. Will the former VP run in 2020? With the publication of his book, Promise Me, Dad, recalling that tragic period, Biden opens up about the emotional and political challenges he faces. Yeah, I think he promised his son he would run, and his son, Beau, died. Very sad. His son kind of looked like me, too. Beau Biden. You never know. Biden wasn't really a very forthright person on many issues that Obama obviously led us into with Obamacare and the cost of healthcare, the cost of the Iraq War. Biden wasn't exactly the best guy, but he lost his son, Beau, tragic loss, 46 years old, to cancer. So I didn't like the video I saw of Biden touching the little children. That's the part that's going to come back to haunt him, I think. And it's all over the internet. Grabbing little children, reaching around the little children, grabbing their body in the front in an inappropriate way. All these pictures are going to lead to us beginning to wonder if he's not the next Harvey Weinstein we need to look at. Yeah. FBI informant in the Obama-era Russian nuclear bribery cleared to testify before Congress. So, yeah, we'll find out if the Ukrainian deal was being handled from the inside by Obama. Whether Hillary was involved or not.
Here today to announce.
But they're going to be looking into it. I'm sure Hillary's fingerprint is all over this. Yeah. And we know that both parties are corrupt, so it doesn't surprise me that Hillary was trying to work a uranium deal too.
Is an inquiry into Russia's involvement into the uranium deal that was done several years ago. This is just the beginning of this probe. We're not going to jump to any conclusions at this time, but one of the things, as you know, that we're concerned about is whether or not there was an FBI investigation. Was there a DOJ investigation? And if so, why was Congress not informed of this matter? So that's that.
Wow, I thought this guy would have been charged with the crime himself. Devin Nunes is a man who openly went out and talked to Donald Trump about the Russian investigation when the House opened the investigation. So everything this man does is suspect. Very, very suspicious that he's even talking right now. He should be charged with a crime.
That will be the start of the probe. It'll be a joint, two different committees who will be looking into this, and we will keep you posted with further details.
We do have a witness who is a confidential informant who wants to talk about his role in this, and we're in contact with the Justice Department to release him from a non-disclosure agreement if that doesn't work out.
All right, so Devin Nunes, I think, really should be charged with a crime for revealing Russian investigation details to Donald Trump. Yeah, and we could probably extend that to Pompeo and anyone else who's giving personal information to Donald Trump about the ongoing investigation. Donald Trump has proven to be what appears to be obstructing justice on every turn of the investigation. And having Devin Nunes come to him personally for a very uncalled for dinner, kind of like the ones he tried to invite James Comey to, is very, very suspicious. Donald Trump doesn't know the meaning of obstruction of justice. He just does it naturally. And Vice President Trump, or excuse me, Vice President Pence is going to visit Israel and Egypt in December. Yeah. That's nice. Yeah, we all know that Trump is real fans of Israel, and I don't have a problem with Israel. I have a problem with the Zionist connection. No, I'm not running with anyone like that. Gold is at 1280, climbing, and silver is back up 16.98, migrating back up to the 17 region, and Dow Jones has taken another hit, down to 23,329. Stephen Paddock's brother has been arrested. Stephen Paddock's brother has been arrested. We think that they're trying to silence that brother of his that was speaking out about his own brother. Yeah, arrested for having kiddie porn. Now remember, the government's been accused of planting kiddie porn on people's computers before, and the hacking tools to do that very same thing could very well be deployed on anybody, unwittingly. And it begs the question, was this guy framed?
Let's get the latest of this breaking news right now involving the brother of Stephen Paddock. Stephen Paddock.
Yeah, he's the Vegas shooter who massacred 58 people. Gigi Graciette is here, and Gigi, these accusations are pretty disturbing.
He's a brother, Danya, apparently, that we didn't know about, Steve. We knew that Stephen Paddock had a brother in Orlando, Florida. Yeah. We heard from him a lot during all that news. But this has been the missing brother, and police sources have confirmed.
Okay, so it's not the guy that talked, it's the missing brother.
To me that Bruce Paddock, the brother of the Las Vegas shooting suspect Stephen Paddock, was arrested this morning for child pornography, and it happened right here in North Hollywood. You were looking at the scene. The arrest happening just after 7 o'clock this morning in North Hollywood at an assisted living facility on Laurel Canyon. Now, the investigation was headed up by the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force that involves both the FBI and the LAPD, and I'm told this all started with a tip that came in months before the mass shooting in Las Vegas. A tip that Paddock had child pornography on his computer. Problem was, no one knew where this missing brother was until another tip came in, leading police to that North Hollywood location early this morning. Bruce Paddock facing some very serious charges. You're looking there at his brother.
All right, yeah, well, we know where we can take that. You know, that investigation is a little bit beyond belief. No evidence, no proof of anything. Wow. And O.J. Simpson is now dating a 24-year-old Vegas crisis actress. Was she at the shooting, the Mandalay Bay shooting? O.J. Simpson dating a 24-year-old. Good for him, I guess. I mean, he got out, but, you know, is this the crisis actress that was in that event that we look at that pic? All right, so people are concerned about, you know, their computers now, and as you know, the government has revealed the Guccifer 2.0 and the Vault 7 toolkits to implant kiddie porn on people's computers. This NSA revealed all of this stuff, presented all the tools to the internet community for free. Which makes you wonder what they're trying to do. Are they diverting our attention from an investigation into the NSA? Are they trying to make all of these things? I never posted or been involved in child pornography in my life. That's an outrageous allegation. I was never trained by the Mossad. I'm an anti-Zionist, you imbecile. Yeah, why would I be promoting anti-Zionism if I was trained by the Mossad? Are you unable to think? And we got a lot of people who are threatening bodily harm to me, as you know. I went to Walmart today with my disguise on and looked around, and nobody was going to hit me. It's kind of weird. I have a feeling this person is sitting in a basement in Philadelphia, messing with everybody's minds. Yeah, we didn't trace your IP to Philadelphia. That wasn't my doing. They can't come after you for posting news of people being alleged child pornographers. No. In fact, the Pizzagate story is not really bannable. Twitter and Reddit are doing something that violates freedom of speech. Well, I don't think anybody recognized me in my getup. Yeah, I kind of go kind of low key whenever I walk around. I dress like a bag person. Well, I'm not worried about what the Zionists are going to do by outing them. No. This is too far gone for that. I mean, if you're concerned, then maybe you ought to start, you know, arming up and dealing with your own personal self-defense. In America, you can do that. I was looking for my my BB gun and I found it. It's right here. I keep it around. No, I was checking out my BB gun. You know, the one I used during my you know, my anti-gun control show. I keep it at my ready at all times. Yeah. It's a right. It's not a law. That's right. It is the First Amendment, freedom of speech. That's right. No, freedom of speech applies to business as well. Yeah. Citizens United guarantees the rights of businesses to have freedom of speech. That's one of the reasons why cable TV was allowed to take commercials. When we first were told that we were going to get subscription television back in the early 80s, there was a referendum, a U.S. referendum, in which a resounding number of people, 86%, said they didn't want commercials. And then Michael Powell, the son of Colin Powell, was the director of the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, and he allowed the commercialization of subscription TV based on the Supreme Court ruling that corporations are individuals too, and they're protected by freedom of speech, so they can advertise on anything they want. Yeah, so that's why you get commercials when you get subscription TV. You got 140 confirmed BB gun kills in Tikrit. Wow. It's amazing. People don't realize how deadly a BB gun can be. I mean, the pellet load on those can go 1,250 feet per second. Yeah. Go ahead and make my day. It's a Grossman BB gun, the most powerful BB gun in the world. Pump action. It'll blow a gerbil's head clean off. Knowing the Clintons increases your odds of suicide by 500%. Look at this. We've talked about the Clinton death count, the body count. If you Google the Clinton body count, you get this unbelievable list of people that have died, 120 people. But this is a current statistic. If you know the Clintons, your chance of dying are increased by 500% of suicide. Yeah, that's an amazing statistic. Very disturbing. Can we see your BB gun? No, I'm not going to show a weapon on screen, because if I do, Mark will ban me from the show. It's kind of like doing blackface on the screen. He'll ban me for that too. And right now, until we get a better chat room, we're kind of stuck here. Until we find something that's a lot more enjoyable than most of the others out there. No, I don't discuss gerbils because I use them. I've never used a gerbil. I'm kind of concerned about the rights of animals. I wouldn't want to have a gerbil misused for sexual purposes. It seems wrong. I'm sure PETA would be offended by that. Yeah, we can't allow blackface here, unfortunately. Mark doesn't even answer. Somebody said, why won't you allow David to do blackface? And he said he won't even answer it. He won't even answer the question. Let's talk about the assisted suicide that the Clintons have been helping people with, allegedly. Whenever somebody wants to testify against Clintons, they end up suiciding. A guy recently did that who was a Haitian official back when Haiti was giving a paltry sum of money, and the Clinton Foundation got $5.8 billion. Haiti got next to nothing. Less than 500,000, I believe. And in the process, this guy was going to go and testify, and right before, the day before he testified, he ended up suiciding in his apartment, killing himself. And people who knew him said he was in great spirits, he loved life, he was planning on doing this to expose the Clintons, and then he suicides. Well, I cast here because this is a free venue. That has nothing to do with why Mark censors me and makes money doing it. Okay. Sally Wasserman Schultz is panicking. She's been out of the news for a while, trying to remain low-key even after the Awan brothers were arrested, and then a whole story was being suppressed. Seth Rich's investigation never went anywhere. Sean Lucas's investigation, the guy who filed against Debbie Wasserman Schultz and died right after that, that hasn't gone anywhere. But now she's getting a little spooked. She claims she was unaware the DNC funded the Russian dossier. She's panicking. She said via her Spox on Wednesday evening that she was unaware of the Russian dossier funding following the bombshell report. The DNC responded to the bombshell report claiming the DNC was involved in the funding of a debunked dossier, though through a spokesperson. I don't think that the dossier is in any way debunked. I think that's just a false statement coming out of the alt-right. No, the dossier is very real. Like I said, the Russian general died virtually trying to get that dossier to Christopher Steele. I don't think Putin would have killed him if it wasn't serious. No, Mark makes money solely off of me. I'm the draw here. And he censors me all the time. It's pathetic. I can prove it. Oh, yeah. We have all kinds of evidence that we're... In fact, when you go into the site itself, you'll see a capacity server screen on occasion. For some people, it's all the time. Wow. Talk about animal cruelty. A man bites a dog. I cooked it, fed it to other dogs with some onions, a North Ireland court is told. He's convicted of killing and cooking his dog before feeding the animal to another pet. I don't even want to give this guy... Why are we bringing RT in here? That's Russian propaganda. They found out that YouTube is supporting Russian propaganda. They've allowed RT to succeed, whereas people like us, we don't get any airtime at all on YouTube. Hardly at all. Well, I Eat Glue says, I see capacity screen only on your screen. There's proof right there. Look what I Eat Glue says. See? And Andrew says it took me 15 minutes to load the stream. Yeah. Yes, I heard Steve-O. The FBI informant's clear to testify, but what difference does it make? At this point, what difference does it make? Yeah. Look, I don't challenge you to anything. If you don't remain shut up and quiet and talk about the issues, you're out of here permanently, okay? Yeah, you should have a nice time doing other things that are more industrious. Yeah, well, he hasn't redesigned this. When Mark first started, 7 years ago or so, 8 years ago. 2 years into it, he said he was going to have a co-host feature. He never developed that. The site looks like a 4-year-old went crazy with a Crayola. I know. But the only thing Mark has going for him, in my opinion, is a very simple chat room. You'd think the people over at other networks would understand the simplicity of large print or medium-sized font print like Mark does. It's very attractive to people to have gifts that they can put in here that Mark makes specifically for a fee. I like that business model, actually. It'd be even better if he had avatars, but you know, they take up space in the chat room and push chat up, so I understand why he doesn't have avatars. But without video co-hosting, other sites do it, but they don't succeed at it. It's too top-heavy. Mark said he was going to do it, never did it. He's moved everything over to HTML5, so there's some buffering issues on some channels. If you have a buffering issue, go to americasthirdparty.com, and you'll see the show without buffering. We have a Flash-driven site called BattleCam over there as a backup. But yeah, there's a lot of things about chat that Mark has made convenient for us, especially me. The casters benefit because we can mute and purge, and even you viewers don't like somebody can mute that person, which is a nice feature. I mean, there are some really ergonomic aspects to this show and this chat room that really make it one of the better ones out there. Twitch, like I said, IP banned me, and I don't like the way their chat runs either. There's something wrong with it. BattleCam is what it is. It started out interesting, then it got into his ego got involved, and now he just runs a website. You know, I don't know what he's going to do with it, but he didn't help us at all. But we have a free venue there, and it's nice to have a backup of our show to broadcast to people. But there's been so many videos put into that network that it won't actually give me access to the archives. So I think he's just kind of put a throughput for us. He doesn't store it. Provenient. I don't know. Make up a word on your own. Start using the word provenient. The language is a flexible, living language. English can morph into anything. Like Sarah was telling you about acronyms, the use of words like radar. You know, all of these words have come into existence because of people's need. Hey there, Joseph Filippo. I know RT has a right to broadcast, and some of their work is good, but they were promoted on YouTube. I was censored. Bear in mind, a simple program is censored on YouTube for 7-8 years while RT's promoted. You can see how they altered the election. I did try to do the professional gaming, Dylan. We did a whole year of it. Had over 7,000 views on my gaming show. In a short period of time, in 6 weeks, we had 7,000 views. Unfortunately, I didn't get the chance to do that anymore because they IP banned me at Twitch. I think I explained that. Twitch is censoring us by IP banning us for a simple accusation of homophobia. It's a very, very bad term of service. He cannot do that. It's a violation of freedom of speech. In fact, if I were to take him to court, I would go after his violation of freedom of speech. Really? Yeah. Twitch is cool for gaming me, and that's it. Well, that's cool. I'm glad you like Twitch. Yeah. And I do have millions of viewers everywhere around the world. They're reaching me through UHF, and it's because they don't have a lot of money for computers and internet connections. So people either catch me on their tablet, on their phone, or on UHF. Yeah. So it's all good. The raccoon guy. Okay. All right, it's time for a little music. We have to keep our activity going, get a little exercise during the show, so I'll be getting up and moving around. Otherwise, I'll be too sedentary, and you know, you don't want to be sedentary in life. You want to get active, do things, move around.
We can't stop and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. We can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop and we won't stop. We're gonna dance all night, bring it on to the sunlight. We can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop, we can't stop.
Thank you. All right, we're up and running. That is not an endorsement of the Illuminati, okay? The eye that you saw in the background says no on it, okay? It's very important to know the distinction between what I'm doing and what the Illuminati's doing. We don't support their eye in the sky concept. I'm more into the cone of silence from the TV series Get Smart with Maxwell Smart. Missed it by that much. 99, get me my shoe phone. I need to call Chaos. Yeah, he is. He is a shill. That guy you're referring to? Yeah, totally. He actually joined the Lucis Trust Fund, which is run by Luciferians. I would love to be able to have a conversation without the NSA listening in. But unfortunately, we're all subjected to this now. And ironically, the NSA didn't even bother to find out who leaked the Vault 7 and the Guccifer 2.0 documents. There's no internal search within the NSA to get the guy that did it. Which makes me convinced that the NSA purposely revealed all these tools to the hacker community so that anybody could be stuck with weird things. We don't know who this brother of Stephen Paddock is, and we really don't even know if he even had it on his computer. But what gets me is all these people that could be loose lips are being pulled from the scene and intimidated. That makes me think that we definitely have all the earmarks of a false flag with the Mandalay Bay attack that happened. It looks to me like a false flag throughout the whole process of this. Yeah. Wish it wasn't. What are false flags for? They're designed to push for gun control. Well, I'm against gun control, and I stand against gun control. You have the right to bear arms. The Second Amendment right is your right. It's going to stay your right forever. It turns out people on the far left who want to get rid of it, like Donald Trump, who knows? Who knows if he wants to get rid of assault weapons? We don't know yet. But we'll see. If something like that comes out of his administration, we know that he's flipping on everything. Now he's allowing refugees to come into the country. Makes no sense. So we kind of need a new character to head forward in time. And, you know, I'm not pretending to be Neo from the Matrix. I'm not pretending to be anything other than an average person with an above average intelligence who's honest, prepared to do the things that have to be done to help the country. That's who I am. Okay, call them the rich. I agree. 242 says, I don't see why you have to call them the Illuminati. They're just the rich. Well, that's how I was referring to them back in the days before I started this show. I called them the elitists. Yeah. These are, this is actually from a TV show that they had a cone of silence where these two people talk. This is Chief and Maxwell Smart. Okay. It's true. You know, for all of you people who have gone down that bizarre rabbit hole of thinking the earth is flat, just remember, if the earth was flat, cats would have pushed everything off it by now. They dropped off into the ether. I ask people who believe in a flat earth, what's beyond the dome? It's like, well, nothing. Nothing's beyond the dome. Well, to me, there's an infinite universe out there. That makes sense to me. And all these revolving three-dimensional objects are called planets. That's not funny. I cast for free ahead of the censorship. I know. It's amazing how gullible people are. Well, this turns out that this is an actual CIA operation called Shoot the Moon. And it turns out that the government can't in any way defend its argument that they went to the moon. There's not enough photographic evidence. In fact, NASA lost every bit of the video footage of the moon landing. So it's all gone. They had to recuperate or revive it by getting footage from NBC, ABC, CBS. She'll be in a little bit, Joseph. Yeah, she's taking a break. She does a second fill-in for me, so she'll be in a little while. I didn't mute you. I muted you accidentally for quoting you. Sorry. But the moon hoax is real. I mean, we haven't been back in 50 years. We could easily mine rare earth metals off the moon. We could use our amazing ability to get satellites out to go past the Van Allen belts and land on the moon and start doing some robotic mining of the moon of rare earth elements. But the director of NASA 5 years ago said, we don't ever plan on mining the moon. Why is that? Why they never went back is another question. So many people believe that we never really went there. So that story is kind of growing because the evidence suggests that we didn't. So the government decided to create websites that have both that information out there, kind of go with the theory that we didn't go, and then have information about flat Earth theories, claiming that everything NASA does is fake, therefore the entire idea of a spherical Earth is faked. It's for people who think in extreme ways, who can't make logical thoughts connect in their head, who reactionaries. So these reactionaries go, well, yeah, NASA's fake, so the Earth is flat. Well, we have the Earth here. We have it on cue. We have the fake, the real picture of the Earth. That's the real picture. And we have the fake picture of the Earth. Yeah. I'm not saying this is a real picture. They're both artistic representations. And that really brings up the next question. How can we only have artistic pictures of a whole Earth if we've already sent satellites way out and telescoping all the way into the many planets of our solar system? The Voyager must be able to look back and see the Earth. Well, Sarah showed me a picture that looked like a teeny little dot with just a little light. They call that the Earth. With all our high definition photography equipment, why can't these Voyagers and others probes going all the way out look back at the Earth and get us a picture? And then these people think, no, we're living under a dome, dude. It's all projected on the screen. I'd like to welcome all of you to the Flat Earth Research Institute. Oh, hang on. This is hilarious. Dude, welcome to the Flat Earth Research Institute. Yeah, and if you're doing a lot of lines of meth or coke, you'd be surprised how many things you'll think of. And don't forget to rinse out your garden hose with toothpicks and other incidental non sequiturs. So, in lieu of all of that, I have a lot of information to gather myself to verify things. I don't just rely on simple statements that we went to the moon. It's not enough for me. Sorry. I even saw the 69 filming of it. Fairbyte says, did you watch Corey Feldman's new idea in the video to expose Hollywood pedos? Yeah, we did. We're worried about his safety right now. David, if people were told there was no universe, they'd believe it. Well, that's what the flat earth people believe. They believe that there is no universe, that it's just a scrim out there. And you ask, what's beyond the scrim? What's beyond the dome? I don't know. And Fats Domino has passed away. Yes. And you flat earthers have no clue. You've fallen for the CIA conspiracy to brainwash you into thinking that, oh, well, if we didn't go to the moon, then the earth must be flat. It's a logical conclusion, dude. Oh, that's really where you're coming from. You're the same people that say, oh, don't question Trump. It's fake news if you do. I've never been to airports after 2001. For me, 2001 wasn't just a space odyssey. It was the attack on the World Trade Center. No, pot doesn't kill brain cells. It pads them. No. Joseph, you're wrong. Marijuana surrounds brain cells and provides a cushion, and then proceeds to kill any cancerous cells that it surrounds. It doesn't kill brain cells. Alcohol kills brain cells. Alcohol is pure poison. So that's legal. Anybody can become an alcoholic and for the rest of your life. That's totally legal. But if you smoke pot in certain states, oh, that's really bad. There are a lot of credible pictures from the moon. I'm not saying that the moon landing was completely, but there's all these other issues that keep popping up, that lighting issues, tripods, the background of the shots, the fact that all the black in the back of all the moon shots, all the backgrounds have no lights whatsoever and it's all blacked out. In fact, if you look at all the NASA photographs of the moon, you'll even see magic marker marks where they actually take a magic marker and black it out. Many of the photographs that NASA gave us have magic marker markings at the top where many people think that there's like studio, they just went ahead and blacked out anything that they didn't want to see. So if NASA saw something that they didn't want to see, they would just black it out. No, that's not a man standing there with a tripod. No. That's just a black area in the screen. Redacted to protect the illegal actions of our government. You're not smart at all. You have no brains. We had high definition color photography, yet there are no color photography pictures of the moon on the moon. I mean, come on. You people must be brain dead.
Joseph asked Dave, why do I lose my thought when I smoke and I forget what I was saying?
It's because you're thinking about 4 other things. What
could just be getting older.
No, it's actually the neurons in your brain are actually jumping to new places. And that's what gives you that feeling of creativity. The neuron and electrical messages are going through a medium called CBD oil or cannabis.
So is it possible that they call people who engage in marijuana unmotivated because they're all thinking about everything and don't follow through on any one given thing?
That's pretty safe to say, yeah. It's probably one of the side effects of marijuana use is you're constantly thinking of new things. And it prevents you from doing the thing that's right in front of you. And you'll forget what you're doing. Oh, I was going to go get that. Oh, I forgot to do this. It's because your mind jumps. And short-term memory can be rebuilt. You'll remember that you needed to do that. It's not like you totally forget. It's just it becomes unimportant to you. So something else becomes more important. That's why you're doing that. And as far as the theory that you get paranoid and schizophrenic from smoking marijuana, that's been debunked. It's an acute schizophrenia that they claim happens only with people that have a predisposition to schizophrenia. Not a chronic state where you're permanently schizophrenic. That marijuana doesn't make you chronically schizophrenic. Second of all, the paranoia theory has never been tested against legal marijuana because most people that have smoked in the past have done so illegally. Therefore, they get paranoid that somebody might think they're high. So it has to be a control variable where nobody's going to get arrested or anything for having marijuana. Max, yeah, well, you can believe whatever you want.
Happy Hour says the stigma attached to weed is what causes that paranoid feeling.
Yeah, maybe stigma attached to weed.
You start thinking that people are thinking that you're smoking marijuana and start thinking that people are thinking that that's bad that you're smoking marijuana. And then you're thinking that people are thinking about you. Exactly.
Yeah. Cool. I always wanted to look like Steve Austin, the $6 Million Man. And I think I've got the hairdo now to master the Steve Austin $6 Million Man look. I've had this this theory that, oh, go ahead.
Thank you.
Right. Yeah, so I could very well be, you know, that look. Well, the concept is I want to be a cyborg for my Halloween show.
Yeah, I gotcha.
And I'm trying to get that hairdo down so that I can actually move around and be a... So,
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if your hairdo is like that.
But you see it's not moving around.
So. Yeah. I know.
See how nice that is?
No, fair bites. I was just born this way. I was born thinking about 4 different things at once all the time. So I don't need to get high to do that.
It's true. You have a very complicated mind. You're very cerebral. Sarah is very focused on what she does. She has a very powerful mind, too. She can focus and concentrate more than anyone I've ever seen. We saw the threat, yes. Logged.
Taken care of.
Okay, the U.S. Air Force says Santa isn't real, regrets it immediately. Really? Why would they say that? That's just... Wow, so many children rely on understanding how Santa controls the weather.
They're the ones that used to track the Santa.
So they want us to not believe in Santa and not believe in weather warfare and global climate change. Wow.
I don't believe that. I believe Santa is real. Like, there's a picture of him in that photograph that you're saying. There, I see his hat, and Mrs. Claus too.
Yeah.
Proof. Santa is real, and he's standing in front of a U.S. Air Force. They regret it immediately because Santa took them to the North Pole and showed them, I'm real.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I wonder who was the first person to look at a beehive and think, those bastards are hiding something delicious in there, and know it.
And I know it.
And I know it. Yeah, the honeycomb. I think the bear figured this out.
Just eat that. Straight up.
Yeah. The bear figured it out. The bear got a hold of it and, you know, could sense where honey was. And in a way, bears kind of preceded humans in this collection of honey business.
They're like, you don't scare me, you little bee.
You bee. Santa got court-martialed?
What do you mean by the firmament? Super duper genius?
Well, we're bringing back Merry Christmas here too. We always supported Merry Christmas. We never wanted to have a politically correct Christmas, Sarah and I. We always wanted to bring Christmas forward. Nope, Chet, you're not allowed to say that in the show. Yeah, you've been purged. Look, if you're seeing something on UHF, it's not our fault.
But David's in charge of the mouse right now.
Okay, I'll be back. Thank you.
I mean, I was a Christian. I did read all that. The heavens or the sky is in the biblical sense. All right, and why are you saying David doesn't believe in it? Trump rhetoric, you'll just have to save that for David. Max, that's not very nice to say about me. The dome. Yeah, no. Well, David can believe what he believes, and I'll tell people what I believe. And then I'll tell people, go prove which one of us is right by going and actually testing it in real life. That's the best way to be a critical thinker. Yes, okay, firmament, in my opinion, it meant the atmosphere. So yes, the earth is separated from the sky by the atmosphere, correct. You can call that the dome. But the earth is not flat. No, Brian. I don't get upset like that. All right, Brian. The earth is round, I know. Never mind. Not gonna go there, 806. Okay, well, you're right. It's not a complete, it's spheroidal. I guess maybe that's not the right word. But it's not a complete, perfect sphere, no. It's more like a ball of clay that, like, made into kind of a circle, but it obviously is not perfect. Yes, it's my promise ring. Not a wedding ring. I haven't had a wedding. I have seen Under the Dome, the TV show. Yes. It's a good show. Was it Under the Dome or was it the Dome or something like that? I have nice necklaces, yes. Have fun watching it, Happy Hour. I'm too cheap to to watch it. No, on YouTube, Under the Dome. I don't have time to watch it. Good point. 806, I agree with you. Just enjoy the earth. So much good, awesome things for the earth. What are some good studying tips? Take notes. How do you take notes? For each paragraph, ask, what is this mainly about? And try to sum up the paragraph in 10 words or less. Thank you so much for loving me. I love being loved. No, I'd rather stay asleep, thank you. Here, David, oh wait, here. I will Google Under the Dome so you guys can watch it. Is that the one I should do, Misanthropy? Under the Dome? So you guys can watch it.
What we're here today to announce is an inquiry into...
No, never mind. I won't do it because now I have
Russia's
to find
involvement
this
into
darn thing that's
the Iranian deal that was done several years ago.
Thanks, David.
This is just the beginning of this probe. We're not going to jump to any conclusions at this time, but one of the things, as you know, that we're concerned about is whether or not there was an FBI investigation. Was there a DOJ investigation? And if so, why was Congress not informed of this matter? So that will be the start of the probe. A homeowner is up in arms tonight after he says his neighborhood association crossed the line. And we will keep you posted with further details.
We do have a witness who's a confidential informant who wants to talk about his role in this, and we're in contact with the Justice Department to release him from a non-disclosure agreement. If that doesn't work out, and
the news story that Lombardo is about to tell
we'll be
you.
able to subpoena him.
So let me
on the Oversight Committee, particularly my subcommittee, we'll be focusing on how the interagency process worked in this.
I just don't know where
we don't think that it
is
worked out
coming
very
from.
well. So we have jurisdiction over the various national security agencies, and we want to get as much information as we can, and so we can see what happened.
Yes, back in October
David.
2010, actually I was that's when a ranking member on Homeland Security, and myself and 3 other ranking members sent a letter to the Treasury Department raising very, very real concerns about why we would allow a Russian-owned company to get access to 20% of America's uranium supply. There are any number of reasons, objections we raised, questions we raised, and it was brought to the highest levels because I got a letter in response from Treasury Secretary Geithner, who is on the CFIUS committee, and saying that this was getting full scrutiny. So this was brought to the highest levels of the Obama administration, including the Treasury Secretary. So it's important that we find out why that deal went through, and certainly in view of recent allegations have been made.
That's what happens when you have so many awesome tabs open.
What happened? You found a speaker that was going on? Yeah.
Yeah.
You can start closing tabs out.
Oh no, that's your job.
Okay. Well, I better do it soon because we're going to be overloaded with the cache.
Well,
I'll do it as soon as I get back.
You can do whatever you want with those, because when I do it, you're not happy, so.
What's that?
What are two words with opposite meanings? Correct. Dylan. Antonyms. The guests want Flat Earth Fridays. Whatever. What is a concise and often witty statement it's a witty statement of wisdom or opinion. An example is, children should be seen and not heard. An anecdote is a little story. People who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Correct, Rex. It is an aphorism. I think David's already there, 290. That would be a good aphorism, Misanthropy. What is a mark used with a noun or pronoun to indicate possession, or in a contraction to show where letters have been left out? Apostrophe is correct, Brian and Igloo. That is the only two times that apostrophes are used in the English language. I see them used so often for making words plural, it drives me crazy. They are not used in a plural word. You did not miss anagram, but anagram is not in this book. You did, however, miss acronym. One of the hooky things. That's funny, 223. No, stop. I hate glue. Oh. MJS, no. Don't do it. Just trying to get under my skin. In grammar, what is a word which precedes a noun or its modifier? And there's only 3 of them. They are a, an, and the. Those 3 things are this type of word. It's true. Sometimes people type too fast and make mistakes. They're not add-ons. Dylan is correct. It is an article. An, a, or the. And the difference is with the, it implies there's only one of them, or it's talking about a specific noun, whereas if you're saying a, it's one of many. And an is like a, except you use it if the next verb sound starts with a vowel sound, then you use an. The World Series has you hyped. Nice, Brian. I'm trying to teach people how to use apostrophes correctly. There's only 2 times. You just have to ask yourself 2 questions with apostrophes. 1, are you taking 2 words and trying to make them into one word? I should just start purging everyone that uses apostrophes incorrectly. No, Brian says, I was trying to just get under your skin. Are you taking a word, is the word right after whatever word you put the apostrophe on? Does it belong to the word that you put the apostrophe on? Is that correct? is David's the best candidate for president? Yes, because it's shortening David is the best candidate for president. You're taking two words and trying to shorten it. But I would rather you say David is. And John Uncaged, use it correctly. Bonus points for you because the tail belongs to the dog. So that is a correct use of an apostrophe. I'm 290 also used the apostrophe correctly, short for I am. Hello, 752. All right. What is a literary work about the writer's own life? I'm going to IM you. Instant message. An acronym. Yes, we are going to visit the Sponheim's house. That is correct because house belongs to Sponheim. It shows possession. Yes, two things that can be used for contractions, which are taking two words and putting them together. Those are contractions. Or it is used to show possession. That's it. See, 327 is using the apostrophe incorrectly because he is not taking two words and trying to shorten them. He was talking about more than one astro, and there's nothing afterward that apply. There's nothing like with is not a noun that the astros possess. So you use the apostrophe incorrectly. You just don't need the apostrophe in that sentence. Dylan used the apostrophe incorrectly because the R doesn't belong to Kegel. So there should be no apostrophe. Correct, 327. Ha ha ha, Dylan. No. People are confused with there, and there. Yes, John Uncaged, it's like an apostrophe either shows ownership or it merges words. That's it. Mad Dog used the apostrophe correctly. Okay, she'll say the Astros scored back-to-back homers. High five, 327. Use the you didn't use apostrophes. That's perfect. Okay, and let's see. There, and there. So here is how I actually have a little video I could play you about how I basically did there, and there. What do you mean, John? You failed English, but you know all the rules? Did you just not use a voice? Is it okay for you to use a single quote instead of a double quote when you're quoting something? So the single quote is used when you are quoting something, when the thing that you're being quoted is also quoting something else, then you use a single quote. So for instance, if I were to say, David said, double quote, I was listening to NPR and they said, single quote, Trump will be impeached, period, single quote. And I thought that was cool, period, double quote. So you use a single quote inside a double quote. David doesn't listen to NPR. No, I do, but David really doesn't. And you see single and double used in coding. Yeah, so if you think of it, you will see that single and double use in coding too, because the single quotes go inside of the double quotes. All right, talk about the there, and there. The way to remember, I should just pull up my video because that's the easiest. Okay, T-H-E-R-E is a location, a place, and I think of it as here, there, everywhere. And all three of those are locations, and they all are spelled the same way. They all have H-E-R-E. Here, there, everywhere. It's a location. Whereas, Brian, you use the incorrect form of there because the T-H-E-I-R, the way I remember that one, you like the way single quotes look? Yeah, well, just telling you how to do it correctly. But anyway, so T-H-E-I-R is, I think of the word heir, H-E-I-R, which is when somebody dies, the heirs get their things. And so T-H-E-I-R is about possession. So if you're saying the word right after it, if it belongs to them, then that's they're possessing it. So then you use T-H-E-I-R. Yeah, I understand 806. And then, of course, the T-H-E-R-E, no, the last one, T-H-E-Y apostrophe R-E. That is used, it's a contraction, and it's, remember we talked about apostrophes taking two things to put together, and it's short for they are. So if you can expand it out to they are, then it's corrected to T-H-E-Y apostrophe R-E. Yes. There are too many in there. Good job, Dylan. Thank you. It wasn't meant to be a factual example, just an example for there, and there in the same two sentences. Apostrophes are gnarly. You know, just if you remember those two rules for apostrophes, you'll just be great. Yep. And then if you're in doubt and none of those rules apply, then use a T-H-E-R-E one, because it can be like there are, which is not a location, but it's a state of being. So anyway, it's either location or state of being. Thanks, Misanthropy. All right. Did we talk about autobiographies? It's basically when you write a story about your own life. It's called an autobiography. No, 389, you obviously didn't learn them correctly. Neither can you, 929. But I'd almost rather you just didn't use them like you did in your sentence than use them incorrectly. So you should have used one, but that's okay. The two are called quotation marks, not apostrophes. All right. What is a helping verb that modifies the main verb? Like Gail can win instead of Gail win, or Gail won, or sometimes Gail did win. Oh, I thought I said the difference between a and an. Did I go too fast on a and an?
Right.
A question often begins with this type a verb. It's called an auxiliary verb. Like, did Gail win? Could Gail lose? The various forms of the verb can, have, is, and does frequently act as auxiliaries. They're called helping verbs. Auxiliaries.
Wow, this is great.
I know, I am too. You're exactly said it right, Misanthropy. I just listen. So the difference between a and an, there's only one difference between those two simple words, and that is if the sound of the next word starts with a vowel sound, not necessarily a vowel letter, but a vowel sound, then you're going to use an. So for instance, I always used to think it was a vowel letter, but I learned about the vowel sound when I got older. A really good example of this is the word hour. Like, David will end the show in about an hour. Because it starts with the letter H, I always thought it was a hour, but the sound is actually a vowel sound. So it's an hour, A-N.
Yeah, H is the one exception. H almost looks like a consonant, not a vowel.
There might be other exceptions, like for some things that start with X.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, but
Xanadu. Xerxes. I mean, how many things start with X, you know? Not many things.
No, well, never mind. They don't have the... It's when they have the vowel sound, anyway.
Yeah. A consonant word. Unvowel word.
So when you're talking about... Well, a good example is when you're talking about the alphabet letters, you would say an S.
Right.
Rather than a S.
Right.
Because the sound is eh, not s, that starts the next letter.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, see, like Miss Anthony says, I am an ass.
Correct. That is almost a complete perfect sentence, except two things that I teach all my students. Sentences always need to start with a capital letter and end with some kind of end mark.
So if he were to use another word, I am a jerk.
But 389, since you have you don't need am.
Yeah, I am.
Because I'm is short for I am.
Right. That's right. I'm am is a redundant statement you just made.
Well, no, Mad Dog, you need and in that case.
Hey, Sarah.
But I would like to have an egg. That would be good.
I don't get that.
Because I was telling them how much I dislike apostrophe, like the poor use of apostrophes.
Yeah, I just don't want to put pictures of people with their face falling off, like Walking Dead pictures. Don't appeal to me. Welcome, 22 viewers in New Zealand. We've got 2 million viewers in New Zealand tonight.
You would have needed an apostrophe in there, though.
Amazing. People are seeing us, during the daytime. You know that, right? Yes. It's nighttime for us, but it's daytime for them.
Because let's is short for let us.
You're one of the Kiwis watching me? Welcome. Hi. I've never been to Australia, but I've met some nice Australian people and New Zealand people, too.
I know. People will still type with poor grammar skills. I understand that, but one can only hope.
Yeah, what's an Old Zealand? That's the question. I guess didn't say it, no. We've had numerous corroborations from various sources.
Well,
what's an Old Zealand besides a New Zealand?
That's the thing, John Uncaged is as if you were reading them like I talk to people. Well, maybe I talk down to people. I don't mean
You don't
to.
talk down to people. You're the most kind person I've ever seen when you talk to people.
When you read like you're telling a story and you have the inflection and intonation and then you get really into like, oh, this person really felt. Then you start feeling sympathy for the main character and you experience the problems that they experience, and then it's really good. So the faster, if you do want to become a faster reader, the trick is to do these things called fluency readings, and that's basically just taking any given page and reading the same page over like 5 times in a row, and eventually you'll get faster at it.
Now, for some people that don't know how to read, like Donald Trump, what would be your best recommendation?
And read it out loud.
Getting books on tape. Maybe he could get a book on tape about foreign policy.
If you're
so
starting with the actual,
countries.
I mean, it goes down to, can he recognize letters? I mean, letter discrimination. It would be the very basic one. But if he can, obviously he can tweet, so he can do some basic reading. But I would actually, for him, since he can do some basic tweeting,
he doesn't do his tweets. He has somebody do it for him.
No, he does his own tweets.
No.
Kofifi.
No, they just announced that when he does his own tweets, that's when Kofifi happens.
I know. Or at 2:30 in the morning. I personally think he has tweeted in the past. Let's give it that point.
He's tried
to
tweet
anyway,
in the past.
I would definitely start with syllables.
Syllables.
So there's some certain
different syllables in the word, right?
Yeah, so that you can read like the word nuance.
Right.
And anyway, there's certain things with
we haven't discussed uranium one yet. It's a non-issue for me. I've always known that Hillary was dealing in uranium. It's not a big wake-up. It doesn't matter if she was.
So
Sarah is done tonight.
Get out of here, Sarah.
No, I'm not. We can talk about uranium one, but I mean, you don't engage in political discussions anymore, so we don't, you know.
Is it going to? Is the uranium one gonna kill me in the next week?
Well, essentially, Hillary was dealing with the Russians, and the Trump supporters are really upset that Hillary was doing what Hillary people claim Trump is doing.
Oh, right.
That's what it is. It's the two parties both working with Russia. That's what it is.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I think that
I remember I did hear about that on NPR. I accidentally had this station there and was listening a little bit about that.
Well, that's why a third party is really the way to go, because we're not taking money from anybody. We have virtually no budget, and it's kind of nice just to coast along and talk about politics. So we don't have all the terrible phone calls, you know, that people who accept money for their activities end up getting. Like Mark.
Yeah, Mark, you're going to have to censor these guys. They're getting a little bit too wild with a worldwide audience growing. You got to do something about this.
So we don't take money for censorship. We don't have that problem. So I don't have to listen to calls like that.
Maybe I have a better NPR up here in the Washington area.
I don't think that the NPR should get funding.
Misanthropy. Maybe I should.
Federal funding. I don't think that federal funding should. Yeah, that was a mob accent. I don't think federal funding should go to NPR or the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, because there's so many areas that they make money on corporate endorsements that it's not even funny.
They beg for money.
And then they beg for money too, and they act like the public should help them. When Granny just gave them $400 million at the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, and then they banked it and they live off the interest. So I actually agree with Donald Trump on a couple of things that he didn't do. I'm glad he didn't sign the Paris Treaty. I was against it. Yeah, and I'm glad he didn't just continue the contract with Iran. I thought that was a mistake, considering Iran didn't show nuclear weapons production to the IAEA for us to even see. So no transparency from Iran. That's what they get. They get a cutoff on the money we're giving them. So I think those two areas Trump did a good job. But now he's reversed his position on refugees, and he's allowing some refugees in, like I always said he would have to.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I know. I did hear about that, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's like, there's a 90-day waiting list, and anyway.
Yeah, it's a 90-day waiting list, but still in all, he's letting refugees into the country, which is exactly opposite to what we talked about. Thank you, Sarah. Awesome. Take a break. You look great in that outfit. It's nice.
Sure, I'm going to go take it off right now.
Enjoy. Yeah. Get comfy.
I'll feel better.
I have millions of viewers. You didn't know that. Comedy Love 4 is not too quick on the upkick. He's a little out of it. He's kind of like this guy back here. He doesn't know what to think. He just thinks that everything's fake news. So whenever you talk about New World Order, oh, that's fake news. Oh, I don't want to hear about it. Comedy Love 4 is not really he's kind of asleep at the switch. He doesn't realize that we have millions of viewers around the world. Yeah, oh well. That's your loss, buddy. I'm also talking about false flags tonight because I think we really could afford, as a nation, to have an alliance of people that could find out exactly what's going on. And I've talked about the Media Verification Alliance being such group, and I would definitely give the Media Verification Alliance funding as opposed to NPR. I mean, it's ridiculous. They don't even do journalism anymore at NPR. This is Diane Reams is on at 11:30 every night. This is Diane Reams of NPR Radio. Poor woman has a voice problem. She's got that same problem that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has, you know, where he can't talk. Yeah. It would be great radio if you had your brain in the mindset so many people do, that we're being fed the truth. We're not. We're being fed lies.
Diane Reams gives hope that anybody can do anything.
Diane Reams is proof that anybody can do anything. You're absolutely right. If you've got a voice impediment, you can be your own show host for the peak 11:30 o'clock hour when everyone's going to bed. Well, I'm going to talk to David Sponheim. David, what's it like to be censored? Well, Diane, you wouldn't obviously know that because you've had a free ride all your life, being you have a speech defect and everything. No, I mean, seriously, you're telling me she's the only talent we've got? Why don't they rotate new people at NPR? Why don't they give us new concepts and new content? It's all the same crap.
NPR, National Public Radio, the liberal bastion of American media. I used to think it was. I came up listening to it. It's got a lot of lovely shows. This American Life, where you learn about the life of the Americans. But it actually has a lot of influence and influences on what they report and why they report it.
I want to see this. Thanks for the link. I'm going to put that in our lineup tonight. Yeah, so, you know, I agree with Donald Trump. We shouldn't fund these ridiculous propaganda tools. It's not your mic, dude. It's the other one. Sorry. Well, we had some more problems with that cable again, Mad Dog. Yeah, apparently you're right. It's I got a low-end cable I bought for $4.69 from China. I don't show a clear pattern muting those who question his statements. Not at all. I know I sound horrible. Let me go back to the main mic and see what you think. We'll give it another shot. I don't mind switching mics during the show just for you. Yeah, we'll see how it works. You know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Did you mute? I didn't mute you, man. Liberals have saved this country in some ways, but they didn't solve the homeless crisis. They didn't stop environmental pollution. So liberals today are basically a bunch of panty wastes that didn't do anything. They didn't solve any of the key problems they set out to do. And liberals might have stopped the Vietnam War, but they ratified the war in Iraq and Afghanistan, which makes them equally culpable as the conservative right wing. Yeah. It's a very easy format to control the discussion. It's true. Okay, let me set to the new mic. Hold on. Well, the Dems have this idea that they have to keep funding this with taxes instead of cutting their spending. That's my biggest criticism, and we're on Wasteful Wednesday, so let's hone in on that. Lack of austerity in programs. Okay, this is the other mic. Mic 2. You tell me if there's any cracking in mic 2. Is it better? Oh my God. Wow. How much deeper? Yeah. Isn't it amazing what this mic does? Like Buddha. Voices like Buddha. Thanks, Mad Dog. Well, I guess it's a cable thing. It just acts up whenever it gets on and I walk around the cable. I'm going to have to get a better cable somehow. All right, Scissor Fight says it sounds fine. That's good by me, and Mad Dog likes it too. It cuts the high frequencies, yeah. So we are sitting on a
the precipice of Trump's signature looks like a KKK gathering. Wow, look at this. Oh my gosh, he's going psychotic. If this was a Rorschach test, I think we've got some serious mental breakdown going on here. This is Donald Trump's signature? Are you serious? I'm sorry, I'm sure a psychologist could have a field day with this. Its handwriting analysis tells me this is a man in crisis, and I'm not even an expert. Share this. Crisis actors need Oklahoma.
Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. I usually don't do videos this late, but one of my subscribers just sent me a link to this. This is for role players for Vigilant Guard in Oklahoma from the 30th to the 2nd. 4-day support, $475. 2-day support, $275. And they ask all sorts of questions. Have you had, can you speak different languages? Do you have skills in playing a great casualty role player? So forth and so on. Could this be just a regular drill? Well, to be perfectly honest, these things are getting too easy to find, and I have no idea, because you can't trust anything that's going on at all anymore, because everything has the government, FEMA, DHS, everyone else's fingerprint on it, and if they weren't guilty, they wouldn't censor so bad, and they do. So there's that. At any rate, share this. We do not consent. I am out.
Richie from Boston. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, he kind of summed it all up. If they weren't hiding something, they wouldn't be going out of their way trying to hide, all the information on the internet, censoring people left and right. Oh, really? Oh, okay. I am an expert in nothing. I've never said I'm an expert on anything. I have a cursory knowledge of almost everything. It's enough to function and to make critical thinking choices. Most people would not be able to do. For instance, I know that artificial intelligence is growing at a rapid rate. We're going to be talking about that tomorrow on Technology Thursday. We'll be featuring stories about that. AI does pose a problem, but I realize that if you can pull the plug on AI, we have control. That's the important thing. I love thrift stores, Mad Dog. Yes, I was at one today. I didn't find anything, though. I just walked in, I walked out. Yeah, it was fun. I just walk in and check to see if there's anything fun to look at for, a song, and then walk out. Were you? Wow. You shopped for Ross Mitchell, a radio news anchor and voiceover artist, born in 1955. Cool. And why are you sending me that information? Okay, the visitor's mask, alien Martian reptile look. Yeah, I've already got my mask. I'm good. Well, it's true. More people watch me than the Pope on a daily basis. It's true. And I'm not here to denigrate the Pope. God will do that. I'm here to just simply fight for what is right. And the right of people to believe in hell should not be taken away by a Pope. And I'm not sure where he's going with that, but when he committed heresy, he decided to step away from my core values and my belief that heaven and hell exist. So I'm not sure what's going on in his head. Maybe he doesn't want to go to hell. Maybe that's why he thinks it doesn't exist. Maybe he's a Luciferian. The voice of Ross Mitchell. Okay, you're saying I sound like him now?
In a world of smooth jazz, one man, one channel stands apart. Boswell 69 smooth.
Boswell 69. He has a different voice, slightly different than mine.
Smooth Jazz Channel.
the Smooth Jazz Channel. Yeah, he has a slightly deeper voice on a natural basis. I'm not trying to undermine his authority. I just don't think he has any authority. I think the real Pope is Pope Benedict, and until the Catholic Church decided to rewrite popes on earth, there's only one representative of Jesus on this earth. And I don't think either one of them represents Jesus now. Yeah. I'm beginning to wonder if the Pope's whole home has moved. The true Pope might be living somewhere else. We've got the most disturbing picture of all, the snake head image, which I think is bizarre beyond belief when you look at it. I was shocked when I saw what they'd done. They turned the inside of the Vatican into the shape of a snake head. Yeah. And then, of course, the Vatican itself building looks just like the head of a snake as well. So what is that all about? If the Pope could explain that, I'd like to know, because it doesn't bode well for people that believe in God. Those people would never worship a snake head. So I'm not here to talk about religion here. This is a politics discussion. But when you introduce the idea that some of the Luciferians are running the country, if not the world, then you have to talk religion. And there is a strong belief that there are people who are worshiping Satan who are running our country. So the cable is dying, the mic is fine. So you can hear it crackling. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. An XLR cable. All right, that'll be an XLR cable on order from somebody who has my address. Okay, we're back up and running again on the backup mic, which is just a basic condenser mic purchased on Amazon called a Marantz mic. Marantz is the backup mic, which is good. All right, so apparently I get cut off whenever, maybe they're doing an audio tweak on me when I talk about the Vatican. But did you see what I said about the Vatican? And how there is a potential for no. All right, I guess I am being censored. My audio is probably censoring. They're probably shutting my audio off. Who knows? North Korea back to the propaganda main event. Well, it feels great to be more influential than the Pope, actually. I must say, I feel good about it. I think I'm in the right place. I wanted to be here. It was exactly where I wanted to be at this time in my life. So I feel like I'm in the right place at the right time doing what I need to do. I believe that our world is being misguided by people that don't know what they're doing. And from the best of my logical mind, I can tell you that their mistakes continue to compound based on the formula that they use. The formula is pure capitalism, greed. Okay. This is more stable at the moment. Yeah, that's where our thoughts were, that our mic was cutting out, so I went with this mic. Thanks, Mad Dog. But yeah, if you have another XLR male to female, that would be great. My fridge, well, you'll see an inside of my fridge tomorrow in my cooking show at 5 o'clock. Yeah, maybe I'll bring the camera over and you can look inside. Yeah, a very, very austere, practical refrigerator. No icebox. I chose not to get the water line connected to my refrigerator, which, from a friend of mine's perspective, he had his water line sever, and an entire kitchen had to be redone because the water just leaked everywhere. So, well, if you buy a lot of stuff in a thrift store, chances are you're going to become a pack rat, and that's bad. So you have to be very selective when you go to a thrift store. That's right. Yes, I have a car. All right. Time for cowbell. All right, cowbell it is. Done with that. Okay, we're gonna. Nunes is announcing the uranium deal investigation. Devin Nunes should completely resign. He should be charged with the crime for revealing the Russian details of an investigation into Clinton or into Trump and his entire group of people. Yeah, Devin Nunes, I think, should step down. Now he's moving forward in his own direction, which is going to be fruitless. It's fruitless to continue this ridiculous charade of who is more close to the Russians, who did the most terrible deeds of the Russians, to somehow mitigate the dangers of having a president who's taking orders from the Russians. And the story about the U.S. invading North Korea to get their rare earth metals came in earlier. That was seriously profound. Yeah, we'll be playing that tonight in our show. And we've got a Corey Feldman video that I want to play of his song. And he just lost a couple band members. He just got charged with a crime of drug possession. And his band members were, two of them left. So he doesn't have his core group, but I want to hear his music anyway. Fleek means extremely good. Attractive, stylish, eyebrows on fleek. Yeah. Well, my eyebrows take on the form of a high-powered jet that can travel at Mach 6. The bridge of my nose goes over like this, and then it creates the wing pattern. Thank you. We've been talking about keeping the budget down, and I wanted to mention that one of my ideas to keep the budget down is to focus on a unmanned aerial defense system, which I consider to be a unique plan to create missile defenses that could be put together, a missile defense system that could be ultimately the answer to our biggest question: will we be attacked by North Korea? But I don't think that they will have time to create the missile defense system if North Korea puts together an attack on our country by launching a hydrogen bomb test out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Now, the aerial drift from this bomb test would cause all of us to be breathing radioisotopes of hydrogen, which would affect our lungs. Basically, it's a death sentence for everybody downwind of this. So if he really is planning on this, we're in trouble, and we should start planning for other contingencies. And we don't even have a civil defense system in this country, yet Donald Trump doesn't even want to talk about it. Air defenses against nuclear, biological, or chemical warfare. I mean, if we just took the money we give the CDC every year to hire 2,000 people that sit around doing nothing but move a few things around in petri dishes, and took that money and got every one of us an NBC nuclear, biological, chemical face mask, that would be a civil defense system. That would be a big civil defense plan. A billionaire CEO of SoftBank says that robots will have an IQ of 10,000 in 30 years. Very interesting. I wonder where he got his metrics. Yep. Never did the Kylie Jenner challenge, no. Mad Dog, you're getting a lot of compliments here, you know. People really like you. They've seen a couple of your videos, your new look. You should feel pretty good about yourself.
Hey, good. You got an IQ of 73. You did real well. I'm glad. 919 is doing better on his IQ test, so he thinks listening to the show is helping. How about that? Yeah, I think people really like the fact that you're dedicated to losing weight and staying thinner. I hope people realize that AIs have started learning on their own now. A couple have been shut down. They've also begun dispensing new knowledge. Yes, Ghost. Unfortunately, the military doesn't know this, but because they seem to think AI is perfectly safe. But therein lies the problem. The military wants to use it for surreptitious purposes, clandestine missions, which could very well lead to the wrong scenario. You see, AI can only deduce that which it knows. Now, if AI knows everything, they would probably say, oh yeah, we can fix this. The Earth can be cleaned of all the air pollution with Venturi filters that could scrub the carbon pollution from the atmosphere, making it much more breathable for humankind. Water can be filtered and maintained for perfect consumption by humans, both potable and non-potable uses. That's what a computer would say. But you see, the elitists decided to tell the computer, oh no, we're not going to do that. We're not going to fix the problem. What's going to happen if people just start having kids and the kids start consuming and we keep doing the same thing we're doing, pollute. And of course the AI computer made a logical conclusion and said, you must depopulate, lower the amount of people on Earth. Otherwise you will destroy the atmosphere. Easy for you to say, Mr. Computer. But the reality is that's what the elitists fed it. It fed it this information. They didn't feed it the big picture, how we could fix the environment, how we can clean the water, how we can clean the air. And the computer made the wrong decision. And now the elitists are listening to the computer's wrong decision. And that's the order of the day. That's what we're living under. The pressure of being ruled by assholes who own the world and now want to get rid of the population. You see, I played cowbell for a reason, because that's what they see us as, a cow. Now, who doesn't like a good cut of beef? I know I do. But they see us as a bunch of useless eaters, and they even characterize us as such. I'm sorry, Malto-meal is still GMO. They don't have a non-GMO box. There's the new look. Yeah, I would only eat Malto-meal if it was non-GMO. And so many companies now are moving in the non-GMO direction. Hunt's is moving in that direction. Hunt's tomato, diced tomato, they're now saying whether they're GMO or not. Del Monte canned vegetables are moving in that direction. Well, let's be clear. They do fear me, it's true. But, you know, it would have been so much better if somebody had just contacted me and said, hey, Dave, we want to give you a chance to talk on TV. Yeah. Instead, constantly pushing to keep me out of the mainstream media. I mean, didn't they know who they're dealing with? They had no idea, did they? They didn't do their research on me, I'll tell you that. I never fail at anything I set my mind to. So, I'll be doing this while you watch me until we actually do this breakthrough that we're going to get. We're running out of time, too, because if North Korea really is planning on dropping that hydrogen bomb in the ocean, it's going to automatically be a justified nuclear defensive move for the U.S. to assault them. So, right after that happens, expect bunker-busting nukes going right into Pyongyang, or maybe a fuel air bomb taking out the entire city. And I don't want that. Nobody wants that. Because there's going to be all kinds of fallout from those types of actions. And then Seoul, South Korea is under direct attack, probably the next to be attacked because of this. And this puts the entire world economy at risk of a massive overhaul. At the very least, a collapse. Overhaul is more likely the word. Seoul and South Korea's output in manufacturing is the 4th largest in the world. And this is not some light thing to discuss. It's a major producer of goods around the world. So because they completely shut us down, we are continuing the dialogue here on the internet and pulling in an audience every night. And that's the best thing about it. The front of my head is not a Frankenstein head. No. I was from a different mold. Frankenstein was an earlier precursor. Non-human. I am human. Hear me roar. It's very liberating to make those sounds. I can see why people want to actually experience what it's like to be a ghoul or a goblin or Count Dracula on the Halloween night. It's a chance to be a fantastic thing that you cannot be here on Earth. Yeah, you probably get off on the idea of fantasy, many of you do. Same face. You think I am Frankenstein? Well, that wouldn't bode well for the people that, you know, are watching this show. This is Bela Lugosi, I believe. Or no, excuse me, this is Boris Karloff. He was one of the most famous. As you can see, I've been doing the show a long time. But I still feel chipper and youthful. I feel like a young man. Oh, yeah. I've got more hemorrhoids than you can tie down. Okay. Well, the gospel, according to Dave, is we either think or we perish. So humans either get out of the doldrums of stupidity, picking the same people over and over again, expecting different results, or you just end up perishing like lemmings off a cliff. I mean, the hole is waiting for all of us right now. It is. You can enter the vortex of the hole at any time. Okie dokie. But we don't have to go down the hole. We could actually go someplace positive. We could environmentally resolve our problems. We could work with nature. You know, in fact, if we stopped spraying the atmosphere like they're doing with chemtrails, we could probably end up becoming a clean world within maybe 20 or 30 years. Seriously, the Earth has an amazing recovery rate. But instead, mankind is continuing to pollute, allow big polluters to control policy. And we're seeing lots of veritable pollution from that perspective. It's the halo effect. You know, something weird happened to me today. I picked up a little fly, and it was sitting in a window, and it looked dead. It was actually laying up like this. Completely prostrate, laying prostrate, exposing itself. Yeah. So I picked it up and I put it in my hand. I said prostate just to freak you out. It was laying prostrate. Look it up. And I put it in my hand and I held it for a while. And if it wasn't the strangest thing, the fly came back to life, and I let it fly away. Now I know they're really, we got echo. Thank you. I know that these things are dormant during the winter, and they kind of, but this was this was completely dead. was completely dead. Rocky Mountain High. But you know something? If that is something that it happens, I can understand it. But it looked like it had died. Like it was dressed for death. It was like one of Mad Dog's embalmed corpses. How's the new job, Mad Dog? I was never in Kosovo. I'll be glad to take a lie detector test on that. That's another David John Sponheim who had prostate cancer and skin cancer and every other imaginable thing. Oh, you start Monday. Great. Cool. Well, I don't know if it's divine healing power. It's just like, why would it just come back to life? It was dead. Hey, thank you for loving my website. My website wants to love you back. Oh, I want to see the sex tape. Do you have a copy of it? Because I never did a sex tape. I want to see what they did artistically and how they batted my face into it. I have healed the sick fly. I gave it a second life. It was the weirdest thing. It was like dead. I picked it up. It was like, yeah, this. I'm going to take this outside, and I held it for a while. And I nursed it back to life. Oh. But you know, Earth is like that. We can literally nurse it back to life. We're killing it right now with all these chemical pesticides and herbicides and fertilizers that are destroying the very thing that brings us life. This is not a wig. This is my artificial look. I did my hair to look like it was a robot. I'm getting ready for my robotic mask, so I'm preparing my hair to look like that. I'm sure you've killed a lot of flies. It's not a big deal. I know, it's a movie. Corey, yeah. John, that's sick. You're a sick person, John. You've just been muted for a while. I don't have dirty nails. I just don't. They're antiseptically cleaned. I washed them in Walmart's bathroom today. I gave myself a manicure in the Walmart sink. I held it under the cold blast of water, which they can't afford hot water, so. Yeah, the poor Walmart group. I mean, Walton family only makes $13 billion a year. They have to cut costs whenever they can. Yes, my father was 6'3". Nope, not many people know me. I have a very low profile. I walk around looking like a bag person. People at Walmart get heavy because they end up eating GMO food and they get wheat belly. Genetically modified wheat, which is prevalent now, unless it says non-GMO, has 43 chromosomes in it versus traditional wheat, which has anywhere from 17 to 28 chromosomes. So your body has to work almost double to manufacture enough enzymes to digest the wheat and turn it into glucose so your brain can function. Well, anyway, it can slow your metabolism down significantly, and they found that there's so many, there's an opiate effect eating this GMO wheat, that apparently the extra GMO, the extra genetic material in the GMO wheat is all about an opiate effect. So when you eat the wheat, you want more. It makes you feel good. It's like eating a pizza. I mean, who doesn't like a pizza, right? It is interesting, yeah. And I just think that eating a pizza is probably the worst thing you could do for your body. But everybody loves it. I love eating a pizza. I'm sure Donald Trump has an extra something. I'm not sure what. They say he might have been an extra chromosome, yeah. There are people that believe that Donald Trump was a Down syndrome child and his father covered it up. And they had him do some facial surgery on him to make him look the way he does. That's a pretty funny theory, isn't it? Yeah. Donald Trump. Down syndrome. There's nothing wrong with being Down syndrome, folks. There are a lot of people in here who are Down syndrome. Many of you may be suffering from this ailment and not even know it. Here's a Down syndrome person experimenting with a... no, that's not it. That's an Arab hitting a hot wire. Let's see if we have a picture of anybody Down syndrome. Here, this is a kind of a Down syndrome kind of guy. Not really, but, you know. Jimmy Kimmel. Here's a guy who's probably... I don't know that for sure, though. Praise me and praise you for praising me, and I'll let you praise myself after I praise you. You know, I got to tell you, you keep telling me that I talk and act gay. You realize that gay people sound more like this. Okay, everybody, let's just get ready to rumble. That's gay. I don't talk like that. Or I don't talk like Tim Gunn of Project Runway, Harvey Weinstein's special project. Okay, everybody, let's just make it work. Oh, the accessory rack is over here, ladies. That's also considered gay. He worked for Harvey Weinstein. Project Runway was Harvey Weinstein's little pet project to groom fashion models. God knows how many people are doing that, you know, getting involved with Harvey Weinstein just to have a little growth in your industry. You got the growth in your industry right in front of you. They have to fondle it. Oh, I believe it. Yeah, it is gay to let your friends fondle your leg. I think that's, it's not something you should ever do. Somebody tried to touch me on my leg while he was talking to me, and I got up and I said, Sarah, you got to sit here. Get in between the two of us, please. You're all jacked up on Colombian. Yeah, Trump might have left, right, and up syndrome, as well as Down syndrome. Very funny, scissor fight. Let's see if there's anything on the internet about Trump and Down syndrome. Oh. Yeah. He stands up for people with Down syndrome. Yeah. He has issued a forceful statement in defense of people with Down syndrome. Yeah, so he's taken kind of a personal interest in Down syndrome. I don't know if he is Down syndrome, but he stands up for people with Down syndrome. No excuse to discard human life. Discard human. Oh, I mean, yeah. There are a lot of people that really enjoy having a child with Down syndrome. It's a joy to be around them because they're full of life and they're full of love, and it's an unrequited love. It's a beautiful thing, and I really I'm happy for you that you've chosen that life. But amniocentesis actually prevents the possibility that you'd have a child like that. And if women don't have amniocentesis, they don't know what they're going to have. And if they do, then they're more inclined to make a choice as to whether they want to carry their child long term. So in the issue of abortion, I support a first trimester abortion law, very similar to the one that was passed in Ohio by John Kasich. 20 weeks should be enough time to determine if you are going to carry your child full term, if indeed your child is a Down syndrome or in some way majorly disabled. Down syndrome is not a major disability, but it is a disability. Let's not overlook that. And before the 20th week, a child is only this big, and their cerebrum hasn't developed. Their pain centers haven't developed. So I think that making that decision would be wise for women. I think that type of imposition still complies with Roe v. Wade. So that's why I'm in favor of it. I'm also in favor of the death penalty at a federal level. As long as there's DNA evidence guaranteeing, incriminating the person charged with the crime. If a person was tried by a jury of their peers, found to be guilty on non-genetic material, no DNA evidence present, then they would never be executed. So these are the social issues we talk about on Wednesday. That's why we talk about social issues. If you have any other social issues you want to bring up, feel free. Castration is, medical castration is considered for pedophilia. It's in a trial program right now. It's not showing any positive results because they believe that pedophiles are not sex criminals, but worse. They're permanently damaged. It doesn't matter if they have sexual endorphins forcing them. They have a psychological problem. It's nothing to do with their castration. So medical castration is probably not going to be effective. We'd have to, well, I don't think that people should be released from like areas that are holding these people. We've got McNeil Island off the coast of Tacoma. There are 250 249 men and 1 woman being held for a long term, even past probation, where they're on probation but they can't be released into the public because they are sex offenders of the highest order. It's too difficult to listen to the show, really? Well, you do selectively abort right now, and we've got people in here who are pro-life. Well, that problem is these pedophiles are costing us unbelievable $184,000 per pedophile to warehouse at the McNeil Island facility. I'm sure you did. So it's too costly to put them there. So I'm suggesting we should go to, oh, you got to go to bed? Okay, Andrew, sleep well, man. Thanks a lot. I'm suggesting we put pedophiles out on an island. Yeah, Pedo Island, we'll call it. There's a couple islands that would be perfect for this, out in the Channel Islands, surrounded by sharks. Yeah. I mean, and just, you know, like Papillon with Dustin Hoffman and Steve McQueen. It was a great movie that if you ever see it, I mean, we could cut the costs on warehousing people like this and make it very affordable for people, you know, to live on an island where they plant their own food. And, you know, we could cut costs on our prison system. Our for-private prison system is choking off our budget. But Steve McQueen and Dustin Hoffman were really terrific in that movie. Very intense movie. If you haven't seen it, it's really worth watching. Yeah. Steve McQueen and Dustin Hoffman. Yeah, somebody said I looked a lot like Steve McQueen at one time. He's a great actor. What an amazing person. He came down with lung cancer as a result of being out on the set in the middle of Utah, down from the Dugway Proving Grounds, where they were doing testing on uranium back then. Both he and, well, the Duke, John Wayne, all let me tell you, Pilgrim. Both of them were filming various times downwind from that. That's how they got it. That's right there, Pilgrim. Spawnisms are becoming very popular, yeah. Well, we have to get to the bottom of this. Brother from the Vegas shooter is suspected of child porn possession, but bear in mind, our government's released the ability.
I'm Philip Palmer in the ABC 7 Eyewitness Newsroom with breaking news. One of the brothers of Las Vegas shooter Stephen Paddock has been arrested in Valley Village on suspicion of possessing child pornography. The arrest of Bruce Paddock was confirmed by a law enforcement official briefed on the investigation but not authorized to discuss it publicly. Bruce Paddock is not considered a suspect in the Vegas shooting. The official says the child pornography case actually predates the shooting. 58 people were killed and hundreds more wounded October 1st at the Route 91 Harvest Festival on the Las Vegas Strip when Stephen Paddock opened fire from the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Hotel.
Well, they say if you tell a lie loud enough and long enough, people will believe it. That's why they're running the story many times now. I look like Juan Gabriel. Really. Yes, you keep telling me that. Are you believing now that Juan Gabriel is talking through me? Am I channeling with Juan Gabriel? All right, this person keeps coming in, pretending to be, you know, obsessed with Juan Gabriel. Yes, David, you have the power. Right. I mean, what's the point of gun control? You could easily hurt somebody with a knife or lighter fluid or whatever. I mean, it's absurd. I know. Well, I do have a better voice than Ross Mitchell when I use the good mic. So we've got to get that cable improved, that's for sure. And I probably should spray the leads on your system too. Well, thank you. I feel presidential. I can tell you that my fun days are going to be over soon. It's going to get pretty serious. And as much as we've enjoyed this show, the tone of our show will definitely get more serious as the year progresses, unfortunately. I'm receiving messages from Juan Gabriel. You want me to wear my black hat, Juan? Which one? Wait a second. He wants me to put the brown wig on. Juan, yes. What can I do for you, Juan? I'm here. I'm listening, Juan. Yes, Juan. What is it? You can only imagine how messed up some people are to think that Juan Gabriel is communicating with me right now. I can't imagine that, man. What's wrong with you? Andy Warhol, yeah. We will show you a way to peace. Hybrid capitalism. Oh, wait a second. No. I'm not a total joke. I'm kind of being a jokester right now. Is that okay? Thanks. I never sold any of my ideas. You have the power. I do. It's blasphemous that the billion people watching the show are censored. I agree. Oh, it doesn't show something sound. I'm saying they're gonna get me a dog roller. Okay. Zetterbeard laughed. That's a first for tonight. I could be a master of disguise. It's true. People will not recognize me on Halloween when I take on a different look entirely. Oh, sure, you thought that you had Frankenstein before. You haven't seen Frankenstein tomorrow. Isn't that scary when I do that? We will be doing the Twilight Zone. You're traveling through another dimension. A dimension of both sight and sound, of both things and ideas. You've just crossed over an imaginary line. One of strange thought and communication. The infinite universe of David Sponheim. Well, we are entertained. It should be entertaining because that's what this show's all about. I really believe that nature will heal itself. But if we're going to let these people spray pollution in our air, launch missiles in our face, and destroy our environment with this incredible destruction that they're causing on a daily basis, I call it weather warfare. You are going to be dealing... Could I please get the missile out of my face? Thank you. You're going to have to deal with the harsh reality that they're not letting the earth heal itself. And that's a big, big critical mistake. So we have to go back to the garden. It's a great song. And we're going to try to do that in the future. This Crosby, Stills and Young song. Yeah. And we'll play that tonight in our after show here, 10 minutes from now. But I think that we have an ongoing situation where if they keep spraying in the air, they're going to tip the scale against nature, and Mother Nature will essentially be in a coma. And that's basically what's happening right now. Yeah, so we can't heal ourselves. Let's spray the air I breathe. They already do that. Yeah, they're spraying the air you breathe right now, man. I think I should just not make a Saturday Night Live. Saturday Night Live has been dead since Dan Aykroyd was on. You know? It slices, it dices, it makes mounds and mounds of coleslaw. Jane, you ignorant slut. I mean, that was funny. But now, I don't know. It's no longer funny. Praise Dave. Praise me. Praise you. Scientists dig into the origins of organics on dwarf planet Ceres. Yeah. The Never a Straight Answer organization is now digging deeper into the dwarf planet Ceres, which we probably don't even know anything about, just to confuse us and make us think they're doing something. Oh yeah. They're studying the organic rich area on Ceres. Oh, they might see some flowers there. Oh, look at the pretty flowers. Upon closer examination, it appears to be a fungus among us, controlled by an artificial intelligence of astronomical proportion. Ceres, huh? Ain't that a shame? And we got Fats Domino. He has passed away, everybody. And he is the great singer from the 1950s, one of the originals, who brought us some of the great songs which your grandparents used to love, and we'll feature his music tonight at the top of the hour. Well, for those of you who are worried that Jim Carrey is not well, have no fear. He had a face change operation and he's back again. He's returned. No, I guess he's now a painter. He's up to some pretty amazing stuff he's been painting out there. Jim Carrey. I just hope he finds himself. You know, he seems to have lost himself somewhere. I think for a lot of comedians, they kind of lose track of who they are. I think he's trying to find himself and become more fleek like I am. Well, his brain seems to be a kind of you know, tweet tweet. Yeah, he thinks we're part of it's the Mandela effect or something, and everything is being implanted in our brain through some artificial intelligence. I wouldn't doubt they chipped him. They might have chipped him, yeah. Yeah, so we got this to deal with. We're still waking people up. The awareness factor is still kicking into gear. What the industrial waste in our air is essentially where they put the industrial waste. You see, a long time ago, they didn't know what to do with industrial waste. And they thought, well, let's just, you know, stick it one place, and that didn't work. It's too toxic. So they thought that dilution was the solution to pollution. I have millions of viewers. I don't know about voters right now, but we do have millions of viewers. So the solution to pollution is dilution, so what better place than to dump it in the air? So they found a way to create stratospheric aerosol injection of chemicals. Barium, strontium, aluminum, all of which just a dump of chemical pollution on us, which doesn't serve our greater good. Because they're not properly disposing of these chemicals, they're just dumping them in the air. They pulled the wool over the American people's eyes, and they got away with it over the past 50 years, and that's why we're facing what you call global climate change. My word for what's happening today is weather warfare. And these elitists who are controlling our government are conducting this weather warfare right under our nose. I'm not kidding either. And it's causing cancer. That's right. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't believe in the Mandela effect. Does it even matter? Thank you. We are talking about it, and something is being done. We're talking about it. The government's not listening yet because they don't know that we're talking and reaching a greater audience every day. That's not a problem. The Earth rotating in a circle is okay. Wow, we've got 800 million viewers on UHF, UHF-4, and UHF-5 now. Amazing. These networks keep proliferating. I'm being suppressed because I'm scratching on the truth. Every night I work on this subject of what's really happening. And because I show you pictures of weather warfare, I mean, this is what's going on back in 1944. They were dumping chemicals in the war on our enemies. So they know how to do this, and they also know how to manipulate the weather to create either droughts or rain. They can cloud seed. They've been doing it since the 40s. So we are now dealing with weather warfare on our west coast, with California under attack, extreme temperatures dehydrating California even more, and what appears to be some sort of electrical storm over the fire that hit 5 separate places almost at the same time. And many people believe they're using the 5G network to activate the electrical currents that start fires. I mean, this is really wild sci-fi stuff, but hey, this is 2017. Anything's possible. California hasn't had rain in nearly all year with wildfires, yeah. I can't do something, but the elitists could. They could easily seed the clouds above California and create rain, easily. But the very fact that they aren't is very suspicious. So that's why I've come to the conclusion that this weather warfare is going on despite our stupid government that doesn't seem to understand what it's doing. Most of the people in government seem to be just, there because they want money. They like money. They like power. They like money. They want to be super powerful, so they just side with this nonsense. And they go with whatever they're told. And if they say anything against what they're told, they lose their job. Somebody installs child pornography on their hard drive and they get arrested. We don't see the shadow government because it's not there to be seen. You can only sense it. The shadow government lives behind the scenes. They don't want to be seen, and they don't want anyone to know who they are. We can guess who they are, but does it even matter at this point? The fact that our government is run by shadow government agencies or organizations is very suspicious. The Bilderberg Group, the Bohemian Grove, the gathering of people high up in the echelon of monetary wealth, and they make the decisions that seem to be pushing these agendas. Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, Agenda create global climate change or the environment to want legislation to stop it. And then they create legislation, the cap and trade, carbon point legislation. It won't solve the problem. It won't even be nearly enough in time to what these people are doing, juggling with Mother Nature and the cosmology of the universe, which is really out of their control. So what we're seeing is just a rapid destruction of our immediate environment, but in the long run, Earth will repair itself. I'm very convinced of that, but these people have to get out of the way. And if their agenda is to create a nuclear war, then I could just go this Halloween as Missile Head. Hi, I'm Missile Head. But yeah, that's kind of pointless too, isn't it? We are entering an ice age. We are. Every 25,000 years we enter an ice age, and we're entering one right now. Our position relative to the Earth, relative to the Sun and the Milky Way is changing. And every 11 years the Sun shifts its poles. We're at a pole shift right now with the Sun. And every 25,000 years this global galactic alignment changes and our magnetic structure begins to change. And we are entering an ice age. Ironically, the convection zone that we created above us is helping to heat the planet, but it's also messing with the planet's own ability to heal itself of any problems. That's why we got 104 degrees in California, October 23rd or 24th. Crazy. Weird temperatures. and really bizarre weather patterns with multiple hurricanes along the southern coast of America, along with the western coast hit with massive fires. We're seeing weather warfare for sure. And they're trying to create mass extinction, or at least get rid of 90% of the population. So we have a choice politically to stop these people before they take root and begin to implement the big event, their big plan to terminate 90% of the population. Not 9, 90%. That's almost 9 out of 10 people who are walking the face of the earth will be dead in 15 years. That would be all of us, except for a few that want to live underground. Yeah, the Social Security Administration is going to be upside down by 2030. Many people have projected 2030 to be the quit date for Social Security if we currently fund it the way we're doing it. No, in my opinion, the country is worse now than when Obama was in. And the country was worse with Obama than when George W. Bush was in charge. So what's happening is the presidents are getting worse and the country's getting worse. That's the best way to describe what's happening. No, this is an organic coffee I picked up for $3.50 a pound at a sale. I got a couple pounds for $3.50 a pound. Organic. It's very good. Makes all the difference. I'm waiting for anything to happen. So we're all prepared for something, right? No, this is strictly good, all natural organic coffee with minimal amount of milk in it, just a little bit of milk. The American middle class could become the American sustainable class. It will merge with the low middle class and the impoverished eventually. There won't be a barrier for financial income when we discuss the American middle class in the future. People will either own their own homes or will have a rent-free environment that will be comfortable and affordable. Whatever they're paying will be utilities and upkeep and service fees to keep it maintained. The cost of our existence will be minimal because we will have ownership again of all of this beautiful land of ours. Right now it's being controlled by mobsters, Zionists, veritable people are profiting everywhere they can. Ashkenazis. And they're not even real Jewish people. That's what's really weird, because I respect Jewish people. I just don't respect Ashkenazis because they're so greedy. They're giving good Jewish people a bad name because they're not even Jewish. These people are not even directly related to Abraham. No, we're not having Skype sex, even though you're masturbating. We just bumped a few more million viewers. This is amazing. You know, I would normally stay on all night long simply because I love being seen on TV and television. I think it's a great way to talk about issues. But even I have to rest and get some sleep. So I stay up till 2 in the morning doing the show. And I'll be in the show till 2 in the morning playing videos in the background, which we do. But I get off camera right now. I do about 4 hours on a recorded broadcast and 1 hour before the show. So I'm 5 hours on camera, 4 hours on video. I consider this television. Yeah, it's no different to me. I mean, it may be low res for a lot of you people, but yeah, I think it's a good way to dispense information rapidly. It's a perfect medium for communication. I really enjoy this. I grew up with the audio-visual era. I was in 1971, I was manning believe it or not, a videotape player, a recorder. 1-inch videotape I handled in my school. My elementary school in California had a 1-inch videotape recorder, and I was in charge of the AV system there. I won. So I kind of grew up in this medium. It was the beginning of my my early knowledge of what we do and how we do this. Then I got into video production, I got into television production, voiceover, radio, and then on to making TV commercials for advertising, and then I graduated into an online television experience. So it's really kind of a perfect medium for me. I'm 57 years old. I've been doing this for many years. The best period for U.S. history for U.S. citizens was 1950 to 1975. That was a time when many of your grandparents actually could buy a house and still afford to pay for it and sell it and make a lot of money. That's not the case for millennials or some of the snowflakes. That's why I want to open up more growth in rural areas with tiny house opportunities, off-the-grid living. I want to be the president to urge that among the people of this country, because there's so much beautiful land out there and there's so many opportunities for us to proliferate as long as we've got fresh water. So I'll be mandating that states will not be allowed to have water catchment of your roof. They won't own your water. I will make it sure that the Department of Health will never penalize you for having a septic problem, and there won't be any septic fees or required fees to check up on you. If there are there's 3 people that call up and complain about your septic system, there'll be an 800 number and the Department of Health will go out and investigate. That's what we're going to work with. 800 numbers for reporting serious crimes. 800 numbers for reporting pollution in vehicles. 800 numbers for reporting Sharia law in your city that it's illegal. 800 numbers will be the basis of a lot of my communication with the people of this country, so we can get some accountability. And we will staff these 800 numbers with people that will actually work in your area to investigate. We don't have connectivity between our federal government and our state and local governments. It's more like they just dole out money and then the state kind of squanders it. So we've got to do a lot to kind of self-police, minimizing the size of our government at the same time, keeping it down. No, I think you need to go away, Jojo. 900 numbers were expensive, and they were misused. They're probably still out there. I don't know. Septic system is not a nationwide problem at this point. Most of the problems with septic issues are completely, mostly due to overflowing situations where they need to be pumped. So if your septic is overflowing and it doesn't leach into the ground, it has to be pumped. So then it becomes a cesspool. So it's just the way we define it. Septic systems are technically green systems. They don't in any way process the waste material properly and grow things out of it. It's not like a living, growing compost. It just ends up being black water that's poisonous and toxic to your drinking water supply. So even septics today to this degree are not in any way green or environmentally friendly. So why have a septic inspection? It's just another way for these suckasses at the county to make money. And they do it. These Democrats in my state are the worst. They keep replicating like cockroaches. And all they do is charge the taxpayer just for their financial expenditures. If the road it doesn't need pavement, the Democrats in my area will strip it down and repave it anyway, just to bring revenue in. Well, you could consider it. Send me a resume at americasthirdparty@gmail.com. I have no idea where I'll be in what capacity in 4 years, but if you guys want a place in my administration, just make that known whenever you're ready. Just email me. All right, well, thank you very much for coming into our show and participating in the core of what we do. We try to bring people together. We're trying to unite the country in the centrist perspective so we can at least talk about the issues. Many of my ideas are to the right of center, and many are to the left of center, so I can discuss on both sides of the political fence, so to speak. But our goal is to have unity, and we're going to try to achieve that somehow. We're not sure how, but we'll at least try. Otherwise, we're going to be going down a hole made by Donald Trump, the credit junkie, the liquidator, who doesn't understand the core values of solvency. He doesn't understand what owning anything is. He's just a borrower. He's a complete joke of a president. Ah! He's kind of like the Nixon of our times. All right, so we're going to say goodbye early, a little bit late, 7 minutes late, and get the videos going. We got Fats Domino. Ain't that a shame? Yeah, passed away today at the age of 89. Yeah, that's still pretty good. He made it to 89, Fats Domino. Okay, we'll go into that right now. Ain't that a shame, everybody? And then, of course, Stephen Paddock's brother was arrested for child porn in Hollywood. So he's out of the equation. Thank you, Bad Dog. Thanks for coming in, man. Yeah, we'll be back later tomorrow. People are greedy. I agree. I don't find Theresa May very attractive, no. But she makes funny faces. I think that's great. Okay, we'll be on to the next stage tomorrow with our Technology Thursday show starting at 5 o'clock. I'll be baking the chicken salad rolls. Yeah, chicken salad rolls. $3 for 3 big, beautiful wraps. Chicken salad wraps. Meal unto itself. Okay, thank you very much for seeing our show. We'll be back tomorrow. Bye-bye.